bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics, and even sometimes we'll get a little political on the show if it has anything to do with what's happening within the whole entertainment space. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we got to talk about Diddy and his sentencing. They finally set a date for it. Also, another day, another lawsuit. So another lawsuit has come out in the sense, and it got to do with child Biggie is involved in a t-shirt and playing with themselves. Look, it's a mess. So we're gonna get into that. Plus, Nicki Minaj is throwing shade at Megan Thee Stallion because there was this case that one of the people that worked for Meg is accusing the rapper of having relations in front of him because he's homosexual. She thought that it wouldn't be offensive to him or that it'd be okay to just be out here getting her cheeks clapped in mixed company. And so Nicki has something to say about it, along with she threw a little couple of daggers at Jay-Z. So we're going to get into that. Plus, Selena Quintanilla, the famous Tejano singer who passed away about 30 years ago. Child, I can't even believe it's been 30 years since she's been gone. But Selena's sister basically is saying that the family was forced to make the 1997 biopic that we all grew to love that starred Jennifer Lopez. And speaking of Jennifer Lopez, she actually debuted some new music in front of a couple of top secret fans and had a little listening party last week. And tonight kicks off her European tour because she ain't touring America until she does the residency later on this year. But her tour in Spain, or as I like to say, España, kicks off tonight. So we'll get into that. Plus, there's a lot of shade thrown. So apparently people are dragging Ricky Martin for throwing shade at Cardi B, Hunter Schafer, and damn, there was somebody else that was there too that I can't remember off the top of my Dula P. That's what was there. So but he was doing I guess he threw some shade that didn't need to be shade, but ended up being shade at them in a way of him defending Karol G because Dazed threw a little shade at her, talking about they don't know who she is. But anyway, we'll get into that. Plus, look like Bad Bunny may have thrown some shade at his ex-girlfriend, Kendall Jenner, over on the IG. Mary J. Blige fans want a damn refund after that mess of a performance she gave recently. Janet Jackson sparking dating rumors because apparently they saying she out here hunting Maxwell. So we'll get into that. Plus, NeNe leaks. Now, I know there was rumors swirling that she was going to be a part of the Traitors season 4. Well, apparently those rumors were true, and she's opening up about why she is not on the Traitors season 4. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, speaking of reality shows and competitions and all-stars and things of that nature, BenDeLaCreme herself, BenDeLaCreme, is revealing whether or not she will return to RuPaul Drag Race All Stars. Well, if she does, I better hide the white out. So that's all I'm going to say on that. And then Hormona Lisa from season 17's RuPaul's Drag Race is revealing whether or not, well, she's revealing the girls that she don't like on the damn show. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. Before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be putting in timestamps at the end of the show so that way you'll know where to click on if you want to just get to the topics instead of keying with us in the banter that we do on the show in between topics and all that good nature that we do during the live feed. All right. And I was planning on doing an earlier show, but apparently my internet was interneting. Fingers crossed that it doesn't, that we can get through this without the internet being a hot mess. So that's what I'm hoping happens tonight. So, yeah, the internet was interneting all day. I've been trying to put this show together. I think it might have been because of the heat and everything. I don't know, but and trying to find interesting topics to talk about has been a hassle today because I was just like, damn, is there like no news? What's happening? All I've been seeing is just reports on Superman, and I haven't seen the damn movie yet, so I can't talk about it. Everybody got their reviews up. Everybody's getting a 40K and 50K and 100K and viewers that's watching the reviews and stuff. So I didn't get to watch it. I'm not gonna be able to see it to this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. I do see we have a couple of comments. We'll get to those in a second after I get through this first topic, which is let's talk about the Diddler. Now, before we get to this mess about him not able to keep his damn hands off a little Diddy, uh, let's get into this team where, his partial trial victory, because you had his slow ass, lazy eyed, having ass son, Christian Combs, King Combs, whatever you want to call himself. My pop coming home, my pop coming home. It's like, okay, pump your brakes. Because everybody up in there was getting a little too excited over the fact that because he was found guilty of 2 out of the 5 charges, y'all thought it was going to be like, okay, now you going home. You thought it was going to be that song from the Diddy Dirty Money album, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, how the hell that damn song goes. But you thought that's what was going to happen. And the judge was like, sir, I don't know where you thought you was going, but you're going back to the metropolitan, situation down in Brooklyn. And that's when you're going to remain until October. So there was word that it was going to be September 23rd. I think that's what they were trying to shoot for. But apparently they said the official date where he will be sentenced, because I already told y'all that while, he has been, there was other charges, the racketeering and all that other stuff, he wasn't found guilty of that. The other 2 charges, I said, you're going to do time. Like, I don't know why he thought that he was just getting off, like it was going to be time served and that you weren't going to be doing time in jail. But I do believe he's going to do time. This is like a maximum of 20 years in prison. I was thinking, man, more or less he might do 10, maybe even 5. So we'll see. But according to the report, as I stated, they said October 3rd is when he'll be sentenced for his 2 prostitution convictions after the lawyer and the prosecution reached an agreement. The rap mogul's lawyers formally proposed the October 3rd sentencing in a letter to presiding judge Aaron Semeranian, noting prosecutors that probation officers at the Southern District of New York had agreed to the schedule. The defense sentencing memorandum would be due on September 19th, and the government's would be due a week later. Per the memorandum, which was agreed to and signed by Submarinian shortly thereafter on July 8th. So that'd be today. Now, lawyers on both sides participated in a brief telephone conference on Tuesday afternoon with neither Combs or Submarinian present. So the Diddler, who y'all know was up in the courthouse for like 2 damn months, those 2 months flew by rather quick. He was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in the prostitution and acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering charges. That's what I say. He got away with the sex trafficking and the racketeering because it's literally like, and maybe he knew that like guys that well, it was my girlfriend that I was pretty much out here pretending like she was Heather Hunter or Jenna Jameson. Like I had her as my little biracial Jenna Jameson. So I'm basically treating her like a prostitute, but because we're in a relationship, it doesn't, in so many ways, I guess it's like a loophole where it's like she's not being transported from state to state, just be doing things. This is like a thing with our relationship. We do the freak offs and all that other mess. So that's probably where that slippery slope, where the law has caught up to the shenanigans, which I guess these outdated laws are still trying to get up to that. But whatever, that's something y'all need to figure out. So they wanted a immediate release on $1 million bond. But the application was denied, in the words of Susie Orman, by Submarinian after the government and Combs' ex, Cassie Ventura, requested he remain in detention until his sentencing, contending he was both a flight risk and a danger to those who had testified. And I do believe that. Like, I do feel like at one point he probably would get on his private jet and run off and fly off somewhere and don't come back. Because then they won't be like Roman Polanski. Like I could definitely see him trying to pull something like that. And with Cassie and everything, I do feel like he would retaliate against Cassie. He would retaliate against Dawn Richard. He would. I don't know about some of the male escorts, because some of the male escorts, one of them I think was feeling like he was trying to be. He was very Team Diddy on the whole situation. I guess get your money how you need to, sir. But when it comes down to like, and Aubrey O'Day, she was another one. She went in, she was doing her little podcast. I think it was where she was doing it with Amy Robach and that man she be hunching, that they used to do that show together over there in GMA, who they just fired the mother too. That was over there. I just heard. They just need to get rid of GMA and all these old stupid legacy shows altogether. If y'all can't even keep people over there engaged enough or interesting, come up with interesting enough stuff for people to watch on them damn tight ass radio morning shows. But anyway, so Aubrey was saying that she feared that she also would be retaliated against. So I think that, and what is there racial undertones to a lot of this? I would say, yeah. I mean, they always tend to go a lot harder on Black people or people of color when they have money versus Donald Trump, who, if, there've been many a times y'all could have, you know, taken him to task and done all the things y'all need to do to him to put him in federal prison, but y'all played in our face. A lot of y'all was kind of giving him a little more leeway and gave him an inch, he won a mile and that sort of thing, and look where we are now. So y'all handle him with kid gloves based off of some of the far more serious charges that he was doing, all the white collar crimes he's caught up in currently and back then, and y'all let that man get away with it all. But because I guarantee you, if he was caught up in something similar, y'all would not be keeping that man, a white man, locked up like y'all was doing with Diddy. But then again, they did keep Harvey Weinstein locked up. He was one of the most powerful people in Hollywood as a producer. So I guess it depends on the person. Now that we got that situation away, so that way y'all know the whole situation. Now, while he's sitting there being like, "Oh, I'm vindicated from these charges," or whatever the case is, and I got to face the music and possibly going to jail on those 2 charges that he was found guilty of. Now he's got to deal with other lawsuits, and there are other lawsuits that's pending. But this one I'm about to tell y'all is the recent one. So this wild allegation got something to do with the diddler allegedly playing with Lil Diddy, skeeting on a shirt owned by Biggie and threw it at a man. So now All Hip Hop reported that the lawsuit filed by John Doe alleges that the incident occurred in September of 2020. I was feeling very Barbara Walters when I said that. Now, allegedly, the 55-year-old artist invited the unnamed man to a private listening session to hear a Biggie project. There he claims that he was pressured to take, special K, got a mean, and was brought to a warehouse and held the late rapper's clothing. The alleged victim claims the bad boy founder took out his phone to watch Rhymes with Choreography by himself, picked up one of the Brooklyn rapper's shirts, and began to diddle with Lil Diddy. The lawsuit states that Pup told Doe to finish him off, but before anything could happen, he skeeted onto Big Shirt. The former Revolt chairman allegedly laughed and threw the soiled shirt at the man, causing it to land on his lap and arm. Doe claimed that Puff said R.I.P. Biggie before walking out of the warehouse. Now, is it possible that this is something that Diddy probably did? I wouldn't put nothing past this man, because I already told y'all yesterday when I gave my overall assessment, because y'all already know I was MIA all last week when all of this news broke about the Diddy verdict and all that stuff. So I gave my little quick assessment before I went into the story that we went into, which is up separately on with the whole Armand Wiggins situation. If y'all want to see that full video, that clip is up on the channel. Diddy's a sociopath, and he gets off on having power over people, ruining people's lives, having the money and control, and being like, well, I have the power of the purse. I have the power to make or break your career. And there have been many stories where I don't know why it's so hard for people to believe victims, whereas people who are in the industry, how if you say no to certain things, your career could be ended. I was watching a documentary, well, not even a documentary. I was watching this podcast that I had came across, and it was by accident. It was with Danielle Harris, who y'all know has been an actress, like a child star. She's been in a lot of movies, but she's mostly known just playing Jamie Lloyd in the Halloween movies. So Halloween 4 and 5. She also played Annie in the Halloween remake that Rob Zombie did. And she was talking about a lot of things. And one of the things she talked about was growing up as a child star in the industry and how, what was it called? I think it's called Tales from the Crypt, or Talks from the Crypt. That's what it's called. So if y'all get a chance to while I'm watching that show, Talks from the Crypt is what it's called. It's over on YouTube. It was like almost a 2-hour video. I watched that last night before I went to sleep. So I was like, look at me watching podcasts that late because normally I don't. But I happened to come across. I was like, you know what? I kind of, based off the clip, I wanted, and I'm a Danielle Harris fan, so I want to watch it. But anyway, so what she basically said, she was like, when it comes down to what people don't realize is that boy actors, like child male actors, who of course are boys, are harassed significantly worse than girls. That's what she was telling me because she said she knows Corey Feldman. She knows a lot of the male actors that she came up with in the industry. And she would see how, like, yeah, a lot of times, even her, she was left with older producers and people that worked in the industry. They didn't do anything to her, except there was one instance she did talk about that happened between her and Steven Seagal when she ended up at this casting and she was the only actress and all the other girls was models. Y'all got to hear that crazy story if you get around to it. But when it came to the other thing, and she was saying like, yeah, the boys get it worse. So if y'all sitting out here thinking that these boys who are in safe hands with a lot of these people in the industry, and parents look at this as like, oh, I trust these people because they work in the industry, they're going to help my kid get to where they need to go so that way we can get out of poverty. Because yes, in certain situations, depending on who the actor is or performer is, a lot of the parents will quit their jobs and depend on the child to take care of the family, which is where that resentment comes in. And the kid is like, well, I'm taking care of you, you can't tell me what to do. But luckily she brought up Tatiana Ali, who she said like her parents kept a regular job, they kept working. Tatiana lived in the house and had like the regular life and all the other stuff, and they provided her with what they provided her with based off of their income. And when Tatiana became old enough, Tatiana's money was in her little bank accounts or whatever the case was, and she put herself with her money that she made from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and all the other movies and shows and things that she was doing, and probably even the music career. Because remember, Tatiana Ali was a pop star at one point. Look it up. Daydreaming with Lord Tariq and Peter Guns. That was my song back in the day. I was living for when Tatiana was going to be a Brandy type of artist. She didn't stick it out, maybe because the music thing didn't pop the way it was supposed to. But Miss Girl had the potential was there. But anyway, so when it came down to it, she was able to take her money and go and put herself through college, which is where she went to Harvard and all this stuff, and take care of herself with her own money instead of her parents eating up her coins. So it is possible that people need to realize that yes, things happen. Like when you have people who are in, powerful positions with casting couches and people dangling your career over your head like a carrot and wanting you to take the bait. And unfortunately, there's some people that do sit and take the bait because they have this fear of, oh, I'm never going to work again. They're going to say I'm difficult to work with. I'm not going to be able to get a gig or whatever the case is. So we'll have to just see at this point with this guy giving these details if this is going to be another another situation that's going to go to trial, and then he's going to be in the courthouse again, and then we got to deal with a lot of these damn YouTubers down at the courthouse again with their reporting. So, but I think that's all oh wait, I had the old one open because I want to say, is that it? Okay, so they said this wasn't, oh, so let me finish this. So they said this wasn't Doe's first incident with Diddy. He claims that in 2005, the Last Night artist shoved his genitals into his face and told him to suck it. Doe was seeking damages for sexual battery, emotional distress, and more. Now, at the time of the publishing, neither Puff nor his legal team have addressed these allegations. And of course, this comes a week after Diddy was convicted on 2 counts of transportation and engaged in prostitution, but acquitted of his racketeering and trafficking charges. So they said he could have potentially faced a life sentence if convicted on all the charges, but now he will face up to a max of 20 years and will likely get credit for time served. So he'll get time served, but I don't think that they'll be like, okay, well, you're not going to get sentenced, like time served or whatever. But I do feel like with him doing all the, like being in jail and doing his time or whatever, I don't know if he'll do the full 20. I'm thinking 10. And he might get out on good behavior. But we'll just see once we cross that bridge on October 3rd. So in the meantime, I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story, the latest on the diddler, with his sentencing situation and these latest allegations? I just feel like they just going to keep coming. as long as Diddy got breath on this planet. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Cleveland's in the building. So is Anumbria. I saw that story last night. I was going to send it to you, but didn't know if you had seen it. Mother sees all. Usually I've been seeing everything, Jen. But anyway, I was like, oh, let me turn this not greetings, girlies. Child. How you doing? Salutate greetings and salutations. I'm like, child, this ain't the John Campion show. He do that, the greetings and salutations and all that mess. I mean, shout out to him, but that's his thing. We say hola chismosa over here. But okay, let's move on, y'all. On to the next topic, and let's talk about Miss Nicki, who is apparently got time to be throwing shade at Megan Thee Stallion. So y'all probably, maybe y'all haven't heard, but apparently Megan Thee Stallion had a lawsuit of speaking of sexual harassment, because we just talked about the diddler. Megan is caught up in a sexual harassment lawsuit filed by a former cameraman who claims that he was forced to watch Megan get her cheeks clapped by some dude in a car. So, funny enough, after all this stuff came out, and now what happened was now the lawsuit that was filed is going forward, because I guess Megan and her people, her team, and her lawyers, whatever, was trying to get it thrown out. The judge was like, no, it's going forward. Like, if we're going to sit out here and go after the men and the girls is out here doing the mess, the girls, you got to turn about as a fair game, is what I always say. So Nicki done jumped on the line and decided to throw a little shade in Megan's direction. She also threw some shade at Jay-Z, but we'll get into that in a minute. We already know that Nicki got her issues with Meg, and then we had the Bigfoot, and then we had Megan's Law and all that other stuff that came out, and Nicki still butt her over that line. So the cameraman is apparently suing Megan Thee Stallion and her management company on claims that he was forced to watch the WAP rapper have relations in her car while on tour in Europe. Judge Gregory H. Woods ruled the cameraman Emilio Garcia provided sufficient facts for the litigation to move forward. So Nicki then jumped on the line and said, what was the name of that law again? Karma's law? Touch not my anointed law? Vengeance is the Lord's law? This is what she cheekily wrote while referencing the Stallions, Megan's law bar from his. Girl, you still mad at that because she threw that dagger at your husband. You still out here windmilling for that man. She said, we give God the glory, and he has only just begun. Have a blessed day if you can. LOL, the blogs posting lies. Thank you. More money for me. We're working. Trust. I don't know. Well, girl, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The blogs is lying. I need more details on that. Now, as I was saying, that Nicki is reacting to the claims of the cameraman's lawsuit against Meg as well on the Twitter, and said, being a homosexual man doesn't give any woman the right to sexually grind on you or have relations, she said the S word, in front of you, she added. I remember seeing someone grinding on their hairstylist, and he seemed so uncomfortable. So I guess because back when, and I'm assuming with that last line, that basically means that when Nicki and Meg were on good terms, that she had witnessed some things and you didn't say nothing. But now that y'all beefing, now all of a sudden you got a whole lot to say. I mean, spill the tea. Don't get me wrong. I'm living for it. I need some grist for this meal. However, when y'all just be cracking me up when y'all want to speak out once people done pissed y'all off, then y'all want to tell it all. But I do agree with what she said. I know some people gonna say right message, wrong messenger, and I trust I got the tweets because people was coming for her own damn comments. So we're gonna get to those in a second. But I do agree with that people think that just because we are homosexuals that we want to be subjected to certain things because, oh, you're not into man on woman, you're not into heterosexual sex. So what we doing over here is not going to be offensive to you or, bother you. And it's like, no, but there's some people that you have to realize the gays is not all of them, but there's some conservative homosexuals out here and people who are all about, I'm here to do the job. I'm here to get my coins. and I'm about to go about my business or whatever the case is. I'm not here to get caught up in the shenanigans. I'm not here to have my little Lizzo moment where we going out to the script club and I gotta have people pulling bananas and fruits and all kinds of damn vegetables and things, a full on salad bar, I'm a cootie cat. Like anybody got time for that. And not everybody wants to be a part of that. So some people want to jump in the comments. I was like, y'all always got to throw the old people comment. So one person said, being a bitter granny doesn't give you the right to marry a pedo. I know that. And then another person said, you literally bragged about grooming an underage boy on a song, knowing Wayne was pressuring him to lose his virginity. Well, I remember that. Another person put hashtag Survivor BCL. Wait, who out here hunting animals? Then somebody put hashtag Megan's Law. Child, and somebody done put up posted a reel of scrolling reel of Kenneth Petty's many mugshots. Y'all are shady for that. But so they pulled up the Criminal Defense Services, his whole set additional offender photos from 2018, 2017. Hold on, let me pull that up for y'all just so y'all can get the whole effect. I'm like, y'all are hell shady with all of this. Cause we like a little entertainment over here when it comes to the drama conflama. So yeah, I'm like, child, did y'all really have to go there with this? Y'all went and pulled up, man, many mugshot photo. Why he look the same in all of them? Meaning like you literally take the same photo in every shot. Like you got one look on your face and it's just they all the same. So they did that, child. They done did that. And hold on, let's go back to this one. Because that was enough on that mess. So then another person wound up saying, glad you know who not to respond to. Keep barking at Megan. I promise you, NBGAF. So what y'all here trying to threaten her? And then somebody said, but then there was some people that came to her defense. One person said, you think that something a college educated woman would know, SMH. Well, child, I don't know. See, y'all got to stop that foolishness. Y'all be thinking just because somebody go to college, that means that they're, 110% like bachelor's degree smart. Like there are a lot of idiots in college. I mean, George W. Bush was a C student. Don't even get me started on that moron currently in the White House. How you had a 1.5 GPA? Like he's really dumb. And there's a lot of idiots that go to college that get paid, get a little free ride or whatever the case is, go up in there just to get their degree, a bunch of Nepo babies, whatever the case is. So just because you have a college degree don't necessarily mean you're highly intelligent. There's a lot of people who never went to college. There's people who dropped out of high school that are highly intelligent. So college, a degree ain't nothing but a piece of paper. Then another person put, she's a hoe, Nicki. What did you expect from a person who only raps about her pussy, being depressed and being drunk? Oh, everybody's got their niche. Another person said, you married a rapist, by the way, chair. Another person said, and flirting and making sexual remarks towards Justin Bieber when he was a minor is okay. So the people was eating her up in the comments and said, you're running a sex offender 24/7. How are you not comfortable? So I guess it don't, a lot of it, what I'm basically saying is that some people are saying this is a case of right message, wrong messenger. How you run out here trying to throw a dagger at Megan when, sis, your glass house ain't all that clean. I don't care how much Windex you spray up in there. Now, Megan, for those people who are wondering, because they said that they clashed with each other on the top of 2024 when exchanging diss tracks with Stallion dropping his and Minaj retaliating with Bigfoot. And of course, I had to go over to Elon's situation, Grok, and wanted to know, how all this start? But we'll get into that in a second. So now the Queen's rap legend apparently didn't stop there. She turned her attention to Jay-Z. She reposted a post from 50 Cent regarding an alleged paternity case with a man claiming to be Hov's son. Said, "Oh, is this why he was trending the other day? IDK. I hope all is well," she wrote. "To God be the glory." Would y'all stop throwing God and stuff up in there when y'all be throwing y'all daggers? If you want, leave God out of it. If y'all want to throw y'all shade, if you want to do all that stuff, throw your stuff. Stop throwing the Sky Daddy in things. Now, Minaj has long claimed that Roc Nation has manipulated various industry mechanisms against her artistry since she opted to sign with Young Money over Roc. So there's always been stories about how Roc Nation has a habit of bullying artists who don't want to sign with them, and they'll do a lot of things to sabotage. This is why I don't like when there's like one or two corporations that pretty much run everything, because this is the situation we end up getting caught up in. So yeah, let's go over to Grok and ask them what Jay-Z do to Nicki. So they're basically saying, from what Nicki's been airing out, it boils down to Jay-Z allegedly stiffing her out of title equity payouts after its 2021 sale. Fans calculate that she's owed millions, but she claims it's a scam with hush offers. Add in the Super Bowl snub of Lil Wayne for Kendrick, plus Roc Nation drama like lawsuits against CEO Desiree Perez, who, you know, Desiree, I think her daughter was locked up in an insane asylum and recently did a whole interview recently. We talked about that on the show. And they said, "Sound like classic industry beef. I'm skeptical of both sides until receipts drop." Let me find out, this is how Grok is over here talking over on the Twitter. But well, it's no shade, but I'm gonna say it. First of all, I worked Lil Wayne's concert at Madison Square Garden. They made the right decision by not having him perform at the damn Super Bowl. He is horrible live. First of all, he made his fans wait till damn near 10:30 to do a show, and only was up there for an hour. But I guess nobody knew. I mean, everybody was just whatever, because by the time his ass got up on that damn stage, everybody was hiding Cooter Brown or they was drunk. So I guess it just kind of that they were just so happy to see him up there performing. But it's like, you gave them a half-ass show. So I'll be damned if I pay a whole. I don't know how much they paid. I was in the 100s working, and I don't know, them tickets ain't cheap. So I don't know how much the tickets went for. But to have your fans waiting for that long period of time while you only give them an hour show, hour and 20 minutes, like, that's crazy. Not even. I might have been an hour 15. But still, that, like, who does those type of, like, mostly people give you 2 hours. Or if you had a multitude of opening acts, I could understand you doing an hour and a half or whatever. But no, you gave them a half act, you gave them medleys. That's what you did. Like you were Janet Jackson without the choreography. So now, she also continued to hammer Jay for overlooking Wayne for Kendall Lamar, as we said during the Super Bowl. She also applauded fans, calling out Jay for his deal with Tidal, claiming he owed her money. Now, Minaj believes Jay owes her between $100 to $200 million, and she's promising to give some of it back to her Barb's fans to pay for their education, which she has made a habit of doing in the past. The situation is currently developing, and neither Megan Thee Stallion nor Jay Roc Nation has publicly responded to Minaj's claims. Billboard has reached out to reps for Jay-Z, Meg Thee Stallion, and Roc Nation, but they have yet to hear back. And I feel like at this point, the smart thing for them to do right now is to not take the bait. Don't take the bait when it comes to these people, because then that's what the Barbs want. That's what Nicki wants, because it gives her credence to get on social media to be going back and forth. It's like, just let her say what she got to say. Let her gloat, and you deal what you got to deal with in regards to this situation, your whole, this court case. Because if you out here doing inappropriate things in front of your staff, that is a problem. Like, some of y'all need to know, like, be professional. But I understand, like, being in the entertainment industry and being around entertainers and stuff, I be telling people, like, the way the machine works is so different, like, from corporate jobs. You're way more professional when it comes to that. But when you're dealing with celebrity, when you're dealing with artists, when you're dealing with producers and things of that nature, it's a lot more lax, it's a lot more loose in that situation. It gagged me when I was over there at VH1, like, being in those rooms and seeing how things work. I was like, this does not feel like what you're trained to do if you work a regular job, and the type of professionalism that goes into that is way different. So one person claims that Jay-Z is broke. They say he ain't even have 40 million to fund his own company, Roc Nation. Well, first of all, nobody goes into funding using their own money to fund a company. Like, Tell me people you don't know about. Tell me you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to business by making comments like that. So, if he didn't have no money, trust and believe he has money, and so does Beyonce. So I don't know what y'all talking about. But anyway, so yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on this story as it develops. But I do hope that Megan just don't take the bait. She needs to focus on this case and all the other stuff and deal with what she need to deal with this whole situation, and actually give us some music that don't sound like everything else she always raps on. So I say all that to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you feel like Nicki should have just minded the business that paid her, and because she was out of order for jumping into a conversation that had nothing to do with her? Like we done all moved on from Bigfoot and Hiss and that whole era. Like we done moved on from that. And here you go trying to ignite a beef. But if you get scalped again, you can't be out here playing victim because you're the one that threw the first punch. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, hold on as I close up all these windows before we get to the next topic. Let's see what people tell me in the comments. I believe it. That bitch is evil. First of all, she shaped funny. So I was in that. That's the reason alone why I don't trust her. She looked slow. I would not believe that. I mean, I wouldn't have a doubt that she probably killed that man and for his money or insurance or whatever the case may be. So I was like, don't go up against Maury. Yeah, I've been seeing all the stories about Gary Coleman all day. Oh, you said Nicki threw a jab at Cardi before coming for Meg about how outside flopped. Oh, I didn't see that one. But Cardi out here going to Chaparelli and all these Paris Fashion Week situations while I guess Nicki at home stuck with that PDF file. I'm so tired of female rap drama. I don't even care for any more music. Why? Exactly, because I'm like, Megan has never really given. Like, I like the idea. I've been saying that for long. I like the idea of Megan Thee Stallion, but she has yet to deliver on music that I'm like, okay, she did that. Like, I literally listened to her music more than once. Like, I'll listen to her albums, but after that, I'm just like, okay, next, what's next? Like, I'm bored. So she doesn't give me what I need musically. But you do you niece. Um, and yeah, it's just Nicki has her hits and all the other stuff, but I agree it does get tiresome. Like it's old, it's tiresome. First of all, girl, you too damn old to be doing this shit. You in your damn 40s, still out here throwing jabs at people and being petty, which is literally your last name. But nevertheless, you being petty. Like let all that go. You should be focusing on your stuff, your career, and everything else because what this does, if she out here yelling and hollering and screaming and tweeting and doing all this other stuff, it makes you look like the crazy one because you saying all this mess and Jay's not responding and Meg's not responding. I wish she would too, but I don't see Missy trying to do new music. I mean, she might just drop some songs or whatever the case is, but we have her hits. And I feel like what I love about Missy is that she could still get out there. Because I remember I heard somebody say, "Oh, she's being her," because I think she just had a birthday. I forget how old she is. I think she's like what 50. Let me look up how old Missy is. So, she just had a birthday. First of all, them recent pictures I seen of her, I was like, okay, Missy, you look good. If oh, she's 54. That's what it was. Yeah, July 1st was her birthday. She turned 54. She took some recent pictures. She was looking good and everything. And um, she did her big one at Coachella. We like the performance. We know she could still captivate a stage. And I feel like that's all she needs to do. She don't really need to release no more new music. She could just take a lot of those hits. She could tour. She got the backup dancers and the crazy futuristic stuff that she could do and put it out there. I'd rather her stay where she's at and just give us the hits and continue to do like live concerts and all that stuff for the nostalgia in us versus her doing a Will Smith and being out here full on embarrassing herself. Because Will's last album and his recent music even putting out, I'm like, sir, what is that? Like, stick to acting. You wasn't that good of no shit. You wasn't that good of a rapper to begin with, but the movies is definitely serving you well. So just stick with that. Try to get back in the good grace of Hollywood. The music thing is kind of like, okay, if you want to do the festival circuit, if LL Cool J wants to bring you out for Rock the Bells and you want to do like a little set or whatever, like a festival set, then that's fine. But um You out here embarrassing yourself, yeah. Um, Sound like Megan in 2019, 2020, but she has had a downward trajectory. Yeah, because the music ain't given what needs to be given. The music has decreased in quality too since 2018. Mm-hmm. I could never get into Cardi bias aside. She's literally an influencer that, yeah, she's basically Addison Rae with a rap career. You're an influencer who does music as a hobby. That's literally what she is. She is literally like the Dominican Addison Rae. But I think Addison Rae literally, well, I think the difference between Addison Rae and uh Cardi is that Addison Rae is actually taking the music thing seriously. Cardi, I think, is doing it because she's trying to fulfill a situation. I don't, because Quiet is good. I don't think she would have ever put out new music. But she kept getting harassed probably by the labels. Like, okay, ma'am, you owe us music. You need to do something. And she put it out there. And I'm not surprised that Outside flopped. Them lyrics was trash. That's why I said out of all the female artists that have put out like real quality rap this year, the most shocking, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like I said, Lizzo has been out rapping your faves. Who knew? Well, we all knew Lizzo could rap, but when she put out that full out rap record, I'm like, okay, sis, I see you. Missy looked like Flo Milli in the recent pictures. Yeah, I didn't recognize her too. I said, Chad, she gonna have these old AGs out here losing their if that's the type of lesbian she into. No, no. Now you know I am not out nobody. You can if you know Queen Latifah eating the box, you know Missy out here eating the box too. Like stop. Cause you know y'all be all acting all shocked there when I be telling y'all who the lesbians. We know she a bulldagger. Shout out to all the bulldaggers. Okay, so now speaking of somebody who's not a lesbian, but she's not in the union no more. Let's talk about Selena's. Because anything for Selena's. So, you know, we all know what happened with Selena. I cannot believe it's been 30 years since she has been gone. Then we got the movie 2 years later after she passed into 1995. It was 1997 when we got the movie. We loved the movie. Well, I'll say for me, I love that freaking movie. Jennifer Lopez definitely did a great job. I actually forgot she was nominated for a Golden Globe for playing Selena. Now, her sister Suzette has been talking. She recently did an interview on a podcast hosted by none other than Sean from Boys the Men, Sean Stockman. I'm like, damn, everybody and their mama got a podcast. I told y'all everybody out here got a podcast. So yeah, Suzette went on his podcast and basically said that they didn't want to do a biopic, that they were forced to do a biopic because they needed to get ahead of it because Hollywood was going to do a biopic on her sister, whether they wanted to go along with it or not. And that's when the backlash came out 2 years later because they're like, oh, the Quintanillas, they want to, you know, it's a money grab and y'all want to take advantage of Selena while she's dead. And it's like, a lot of y'all have no idea how politics in the industry and all that other stuff works. Selena was on the cusp of breaking over into the Anglo music market. She was about to be that crossover star to go from the Tejano music into more US pop stuff. So to mix her Tejano music with a lot more of the American Anglo type of market, which she would have been able to do that before, like the Shakiras and the Jennifer Lopez's and all these other ones. And we can't sit up here and deny the fact that, yes, if because Jennifer Lopez, who was a dancer and not a singer, didn't play Selena, she probably would have never thought about being getting a music contract or getting into the pop music space. But I think because of her doing Selena, the well, you know, I guess the wheels and everything started turning. I don't know who came to her with the idea, or it was something that she had the idea of based off of things that she was hearing, where they were like, you know what, since you out here looking real convincing with this whole pop thing, maybe you should consider jumping into the music. You don't have the most spectacular voice, but they can work around that. As long as you can entertain, as long as you get on stage and give choreography, whip your hair back and forth like you Willow Smith, and do the whole diva fan situation and pose and do all the things that a pop star does, we can pretty much make you into that thing that we need you to make. Because when it comes to being a pop star and all that stuff, it doesn't require, you know, you don't need to be blowing like Mariah Carey or, you know, any one of those girls. It's all about performance and being, getting up there and razzle dazzle. So while promoting the 30th anniversary of Selena's Dreaming of You album, Suzette opened, as I said, she paid a visit to the podcast, which is actually called On That Note, and spoke about her sister's music career. At one point in the conversation, Quintanilla opened up about how the film came about and how her family was forced into making it. According to Quintanilla, the film was in the process of being made, and the family's legal team advised them to get on board to protect Selena's story from getting sensationalized. She said, quote, "We were forced to make that movie. Literally months after she died, our lawyers got word that Hollywood was already going to start making a movie. And if you don't have control of your own, you're going to be, it's going to be whatever they want to put in it. So that's the only reason why my father Abraham had to make the decision to move forward and say, we're doing this movie." She also added that Quintanilla's family was not interested in doing a movie so soon, especially 2 years after Selena's death. The star, as you know, was pow-powed in 1995 by her fan club president, Yolanda Saldivar, who for the past 3 decades have been trying to get her wide ass up out of the jail. And the judge keeps saying, no, no, no. In the words of my girl Amy Winehouse. He's like, nope, denied, your ass ain't in jail. Because first of all, sis, look, I keep telling Yolanda she don't want to hear it. You're more protected behind bars than you are on these streets. Because if you was actually let out on them Texas streets, sis, you would not make it past the 24 hours that you was out there touching the grass. You know how many people want you unalive, but then again, the way that ICE is out here trying to deport people, a lot of these, Texas might be full of white folks by the time you get out of prison. All the Mexicans probably be, put up in that damn alligator Auschwitz. Because you can see that's what they doing. Even the ones that have, the paperwork and everything to be here. Because they trying to round everybody up. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go and round up us American-born citizens. Don't think that they're not going to do that. So she said it wasn't something that was on our radar at all. It was way too soon, to be honest with you. It came out literally 2 years after she died, and that was criticism, and there was criticism over that. This is what she said about having the family got heat for being all about the money. And despite the backlash they received for supposedly capitalizing on Selena's passing, Quintanilla said that she stands by the decision her family made and the film itself. Selena was directed by Gregory Nava and released in March of 1997, becoming a commercial and critical success. And you already know, I mentioned before, Jennifer Lopez, as y'all know, was in it. She was nominated for Best Actress at the 55th Golden Globe Awards for her performance, and the film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress in 2021. So, as I stated before, I love the movie. I'm glad that Suzette got ahead of this because for so many years, I think even from I was a little young, so I didn't really think about it. And I kind of like, oh, it's too soon and all this other stuff. All I knew was I liked the music. And yes, Selena was touched by a lot of people. There was a lot of people that loved her music. I loved her music. I Will Prohibido, Beady Beady Bom Bom, so many great songs that this Miss Mama's done had. And that whole sound or whatever. And she still has influenced and touched a lot of people to this day. So I'm glad that, they decided to jump on board and was like, you know what? We need to get ahead of it because, yes, Hollywood has made many unauthorized biopics and unauthorized documentaries, or whatever the case is, where they sit and put whatever they want to put up in it. And yeah, if they didn't get behind it, they probably would have put a white girl to be in the role. I mean, I think a lot of y'all, if I do remember correctly, y'all was mad when they picked Jennifer Lopez to play Selena because how you picking a Puerto Rican to play a Mexican? They get into that whole thing where it got to be literally the ethnicity of the person has to be accurate. And at the end of the day, it's about when it comes to those things, at least they kept it with it under the Latino, the Latin umbrella. But it should be about who's the best for the job. Because I can look at 100,000 Mexicans, and if none of y'all are really giving me what I need in regards of the performance, you can hit all the beats with the choreography and all that other stuff. But I need that I need that extra aspect of the personality, the charm, what made people fall in love with Selena. And I feel like Jennifer Lopez captured that in the performance that she was, regarding the film. So, as I said it before, I'm glad Suzette is speaking out on all of this. And I'm glad that we have this all wrapped up so now everybody can just move on. Maybe everybody did move on, just didn't care. But I'm glad that she, 30 years later, we got some clarity on the situation. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding what Suzette had to say about the fact that, the family did not want to make the 1997 film, but had to because they had to get ahead of it. Otherwise, if they were like, well, we don't want to make the movie, Hollywood's going to do whatever Hollywood is going to do. They're going to make a movie that you're upset, that you hate. And people aren't understanding the politics of what's going on behind the scenes. So whether or not you decide to be a part of it, they'd have been like, the Quintanillas are greedy. How could you let them do this to your child or whatever the case is? And they'll get the blame because they see them and you don't see the director or the producers or the studio head or these people behind the scenes that were the ones that made the decisions to put what they put in the movie. So let me know what you got. Yeah, it's multi-layered and people need to understand it when it comes to these type of projects. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, hold on. I thought, ooh, that water. That's some good water. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Magical Mermaids in the building. So I sent you a TikTok, a mistress talking about how Yolanda was her first. You know what? Mistress, you are going to hell. Let me see if I can pull that up. She going to hell for that one. I'm like, could you imagine if she did Yolanda Saldivar? First of all, hold on. I got to log into my TikTok, so I got to do the whole, um, where is it? The whole camera situation. Wait, I'm pulling up the wrong thing. Did y'all hear they coming out with an American version of TikTok? I'm like, I'm not joining that crap. Hold on. Why is it? TikTok be so damn annoying. You be trying to log in. Hold on. And now here Kamala Harris. But you said, oh, you sent it as a message. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I see it. I was like, what's going on? See, that would have been a good thing for the segment. But I was like, why is it for some reason the video is wait, that's not where I wanted to go. I want to share the screen. Hold on. I don't know, for some reason the TikTok. Oh yeah, I got it. Oh, no, that is not Primrose Everdeen chair. I don't know why this video. Oh, for some reason it's like this damn videos is not popping up today. Is that it? Open,
So
bitch.
originally, I was gonna do the bitch who killed Selena Quintanilla. I was gonna do Yolanda Saldivar. That was my first Snatch Game choice. We went back and forth about it. I was so excited.
I hear it, but it's not playing.
So originally, I was gonna do the bitch who killed Selena Quintanilla. I was gonna do Yolanda Saldivar. That was my first Snatch Game choice. We went back and forth about it. I was so excited. I had all the things that how I was gonna play her. Then they told me, they were like, Mistress, you're gonna get backlash from this. You can't talk about murdering. You can't make guns. You can't like say. They gave me a whole list of what I can and can't say. So then I told them, I was like, well, that eliminates the whole character. Plus, if I do it, I'm gonna feel like I have to watch myself, so it's not even worth doing. So then they were like, okay, like just chill out. We're gonna go through the legal precautions. But then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I still want to do it. I think it'll be funny. I can do it appropriately and not like make fun of Selena. Like if we're doing it to really like roast Yolanda. So then I would say about like a week before we went, they called me and they're like, hey, like you can't do Yolanda. It's chopped. So I was like, I was like, well, who else am I gonna do? So originally I was gonna do the bitch who killed Selena.
So when she said the bitch who killed Yolanda girl. But they said if Bag of Chips could play the scroll from are they talking about she played the chick from Misery? Then surely Mistress could have played Yolanda. But I think what you're missing is the fact that Annie Wilkes, who you're referring to from Misery, is a fictional character that was created by Stephen King. So you can play a fictional stalker, killer, nutbag, whatever the case is. You can't play somebody who's based in real life. It's kind of like, could you imagine if they was doing like, what the hell's her name? And I just forgot her the chick that basically Ryan Murphy is about to do her in. Let me look it up. Because all of a sudden I'm drawing brain fog. Lizzie Borden. Has anybody ever done Lizzie Borden on Snatch Game? Because look, Ryan Murphy about to make a Monsters series based off of her after we get that one with Ed Gein, because that's the next one that's supposed to be coming out. And that was announced today that basically, yeah, he's doing a Monster season 4 with Lizzie Borden. So I have a feeling somebody has probably done that. But yeah, I think that's what people have to realize, that there's a difference. You can't do, if you're going to do Snatch Game and based off a killer, the killer has to be fictional. I don't think they want a real life person or somebody who's probably been around, like was a serial killer from like 200-300 years ago. I think it's not as offensive because there's no source of reference. So you can, I guess, play around in that sense. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I don't even know if Lifetime was a thing back in the 90s. I don't even remember the Lifetime channel. You said that would have gotten her canceled. He said, I remember watching the Selena movie on DVD when I was younger. My mom was a big fan of her and told me she cried when she found out she passed. She gets mad at me for listening to her songs in English. I mean, she has English language songs, but majority of her stuff was in Spanish, wasn't it? That's what I remember. She was like, "Oh, you better listen to her Espanol tracks. We don't want y'all to be listen to her Anglo songs." 3 days before or after, he said, "My mom doesn't like Hannaford because she thinks she used, quiet as his cat." If you really think about it, Hannaford Lopez used a lot of people to boost her career, whether it was music or movies. So it was a Puerto Rican, and you gotta say it like T.S. Madison, Puerto Rican, Puerto Rican. He said because it was timely, it helped make it successful. Yeah, because it was like fresh. So of course everybody wanted to flock to the movies and see it. It's kind of like with the Fast and the Furious one with Paul Walker, that people went to the movies to see that when they, because it was fresh and they wanted to see like, oh, how would they send off his character, especially because he died in real life. So Jennifer Lopez had other movies that she had done, but yes, Selena definitely was that crossover hit. You said what Nicki should be speaking on in her tweets is how she's strong and has been able to withstand all that has come against her, and she will continue to do so. And yes, I agree with that. Instead of playing these petty ass games and stuff, where people is like, you don't need to give that the energy, and then y'all throw the God stuff up in there to kind of like soften the blow. And it's like, oh, because that's what a lot of I realize. Like I said, I tell you, a lot of you religious people, y'all like sleeper agents. Somebody say all kinds of crazy stuff, but the minute they throw God, Jesus, and God be the glory, all that stuff, all of a sudden y'all get activated and just all that other stuff just go out the window because all y'all heard was God, Jesus, and all the other words, the church words. It's like, damn, y'all really have been brainwashed out in these streets. So, I always tell people success is the best revenge. So yeah, Jay-Z could do whatever he wants, tries, he might, whatever the case is. Other rappers could try to come for you or doing something, that and the other. What people can't take away is your talent. So focus on that. Always let people know that, you know what, the pen is mightier than the sword, as I was always raised to believe growing up, going in school and things. Pen is mightier than the sword. So just do that instead of getting caught up in all the drama cum flama. It did help her because become a star for sure. It usually takes more than one role to make someone a star. Yeah, because she had, she was doing all them damn rom-coms. Made in Manhattan and all those other films. And she had the big, so Jennifer Lopez is talented. She's definitely talented. She has, she definitely has movie style quality. But Nicki will continue to rant and rave, talk about who is the blame, point fingers, repost stuff when you're about to go into the age of your 50. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop. Yeah, not 50s. I mean, she just turned, 41? He said, it's nauseating. Nicki, you're a multimillionaire. Go relax. Speak about real issues that real people are going through. Yeah, because we all got all kinds of stressful stuff. People about to get their health care chopped. People out here losing their jobs. The people in Texas now a damn waterfall. Like people done lost their homes. We lost 27 young teenage children are dead. So these are the things we need to be focusing on. Or the current administration needs to be focusing on. But when you get rid of all the weather balloons and this and that, you start firing people that work in meteorology, they're supposed to be tracking all this stuff. And all you thinking, oh, throw it in a prayer. I'm like, y'all really thought y'all did a big one by talking about thoughts and prayers? Take the thoughts and prayers and shove it up your ass, because that don't do nothing. What needs to be done is we need regulation to help people. And then we need FEMA. They getting rid of FEMA and putting that money towards some damn ICE. And I was just saying today, where's the story? Some of these ICE agents are quitting because they weren't about being doxxed. And I was saying, you want to know something? That's the best way to get their ass. Dox them. That's why you think they out here running around with these damn masks on like they, about to break in your damn house. So that's what you need to do. Wait, why am I not on my page? Because it was something that I saw. Oh, it said ICE agents quitting in droves due to low morale, doxing fears. First of all, there's not a lot of people out here for y'all to be rounding up to send the alligator Auschwitz. But they went and put all this money into play. They need to fill it up with somebody. Oh my God. You know what? I need to follow this thing. First of all, shout out to Hakeem Jeffries' brother. Oh, I love family fights. Because guess what? I just saw a post that Hakeem Jeffries' brother is endorsing Zoran Mamdani. So while Hakeem is running around here getting over a $1.5 million from APAC, the brother out here is out being like, screw my tired ass, greedy Zionist damn brother. Because I'm showing you where my endorsement lies. And you said she had a lot of roles of big stars that quickly followed. I think her music career is what blew her up. Yeah, and you know what? And especially with her getting with Diddy, Tommy Mottola helping her out in so many ways, working with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. around that time. So certain different ways that they were propping up her music, and it was a good thing that she went more pop afterward, especially after that whole situation with the Diddler. Like the smart thing she did was go pop because it got her that crossover success that she needed. I kind of wish she would have stayed more with the pop and more with the dance stuff and focused more on crossing over to the international market, which is where you see she's currently touring overseas versus coming to the United States. Because I guess in the United States, people don't really care about her music. And she had she pretty much had a big prominent career thanks to MTV. But I always felt like she used the music career felt more like a hobby rather than something she focused on. She seemed to have focused on the movie career more. No, what it was, I don't know what was going on with the damn TikTok, but it kept opening up to the wrong thing. You said, Mistress, I dare you, you would have been slayed by social that would have been Korea. And Mistress from here she is from Texas. So I mean, look, you could do it, but make her funny. But yeah, that is bad. Like, people do not like Yolanda. And if I don't know what Mistress Edna is she Mexican? She do get look. I refer to her as Mama Fratelli from freaking the Goonies. That's what I always say that she remind me of because she looked like her, even down to the beret she was wearing in the confessionals. So that would have been a bad move. Like, don't do people that will actually kill your career because nobody likes Yolanda except her family. They're trying to get her out. Mistress also said that she should retire Snatch. They should retire Snatch Game. All the good. I agree. I've been saying that for years. I feel like we're going into season 18. Sometimes they evolve the show so much. Y'all, if y'all could evolve the studio, get y'all set up the whole new instead of get rid of that black floor because it don't work with like it clashes with some of the outfits the girls wear. So you need a better flooring because that black flooring is just horrible. But if y'all can give yourselves makeovers with the sets, the Interior Illusions Lounge, whatever they call it now, but I will always refer to it as the Interior Illusions Lounge. And if y'all give it all these different things, I agree. Get rid of Snatch Game ain't it no more. They need to find a new game that, like a mid-season game that really determines, the eats or be eaten types, the ones who only the strong survive. I don't know. They have to come up with something. I'll do like the Lollapaloozas. Keep that. I like the talent show. I like some of the other little things that y'all do. Y'all need to bring the puppet thing back. I did like when y'all did everybody loves puppets. Like that was cute. So there's certain staples that we have, but yes, Snatch Game is not it no more. It's not funny. All the good celebrities are done, and you have to realize the new generation, they don't know. Well, I mean, the early seasons I love because it was like you could do Lil Edie or you could do Barbara Streisand or somebody like that, or Judy Garland or somebody like that, or Joan Rivers. There's nobody really you could do anymore. Now these kids only know influencers, and influencers are not funny. Like influencers better to just get on camera and they're supposed to be themselves. So how do I play an influencer and make that a funny person? Like it's just I guess the fact that these producers are just trying to hold on to something that's just like, and I've been saying this for the longest, so I definitely agree with Mistress, where it's like, get rid of Snatch Game. It's stupid. It just doesn't hold weight anymore. And every season it gets worse. So let it go, in the words of Frozen. Or Elsa from Frozen. Yeah, I remember. So it'd be interesting to see who they get to play her in the new one. Kathy Bates, she felt tied to the plus size girls. Well, look, she lost all that weight now. So, because she's a skinny old thing over on Matlock, no one talks about Nicki's music anymore. It's just been drama. Kenny, Megan, Cardi, Jay, and whoever else she doesn't like. Well, you know that list is long. Mm-hmm. Girls Aloud confirmed that the group has split and it's for the best. As Cheryl said, Bear only has one parent and it's better for her son as Cheryl can afford to do X Factor in London. But a girl, well, yeah, because if Cheryl decides to just do X Factor, that's a check. TV money is way better than me having a tour, travel the world, have to figure out, like, work everything around my child's schedule because I'm a single parent. Whereas, like, if I'm working, I could have left my son with Liam if he was still alive, but he's not. So, if unfortunately Girls Aloud ain't gonna happen, but look, we got the old songs. Hmm. That's why I said maybe next time when you get on the show, do Mama Fratelli from the Goonies. That would be a cackle. The queens know it's coming and fail worse each year. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think they look forward to it either. Like I have a friend that has done tapes for some of the queens, and they have to do like the snatch game and all the other stuff. I'm like, some of the choices, I'd be like, girl, that's a choice. But like I said, it's like snatch game is just not. It's not funny anymore. It's just stupid. It doesn't have the same thing that it did back in the day when it was coming out. Like so when did Snatch Game start around season 3? We're going into season 18. It's time for it to sashay away and for y'all to come up with something else. Like some producers come up with some ideas instead of trying to control narratives and be messy for ratings. Like multitask. I know Venus is like whatever. If she had survived on season 3. What, play Madonna? Not not hunching Diddy out the career. I know how someone can make Madonna funny without being ageist and recreating the Jimmy Fallon interview. You can have like I guess you can have her like climbing on people and doing sexual stuff. Not saying that you got to be out here being full on nasty or just dropping F-bombs or whatever. Like just look back at her old interviews. Also read what her Democrats is not allowing people to make mistakes and wanting people to be flawless. That led to a huge backlash because if it was a human flaw, it led to being judged. And you see people out here just cussing and doing all kinds of stuff. You got the president dropping F-bombs live on air. You got all kinds of other stuff. And I guess when we look at someone like a Zoran who's got everybody spooked and nervous, one of my friends was messaged me earlier and was like, they said this is definitely letting us know that we're on the right path, because if everybody, Republicans and Democrats, is trying to push this narrative that someone is all these things that they're not, they're dangerous. And this person is actually the right decision because they're scared and they feel like and I've been saying this to y'all, or I won't even say if, when Zoran becomes mayor, these centrist Democrats, if you don't get on board, like my girl Jennifer Welch said over on I've Had It News, you either get with the program or get the fuck out the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. You, Hakeem Jeffries and them teeth. Chuck Schumer and that hunchback, and the rest of you. If y'all don't want to get on Kristen Gillibrand, that old dumb bitch, if the rest of y'all don't want to get on the situation, move. Because what they're afraid of is that when a Zoran becomes mayor of New York, that lets other states know that, oh, if he could do it, I could do it too. And then the tides will turn. The centrist Democrats will lose all the things they've been, because apparently they love losing. As long as they get, that check clears from APAC, they don't give a damn about us or anything else. And here's the thing I've never understood. If Republicans could turn over everything that the Democrats put in place, right? Like Obamacare is about to be obsolete, even though I truly believe that Obama, that's why he fought so hard to make sure that Bernie Sanders didn't get nominated for being president, because if Bernie is out here talking about Medicare for all and all this other stuff, what does that do for Obama's legacy? So people need to start looking at all the deeper things before, So, now that all this, Republicans coming in with the wrecking ball, just getting rid of everything. But how come when Democrats get back in office, they don't right those mistakes, get rid of all this other stuff? Because I truly believe this big ugly ass bill, when a Democrat gets back in office and it's a blue tsunami or whatever you want to call it, if they don't go and overturn a lot of this stuff, then it just goes to show that just pay attention to it. It goes to show that, it's all political theater. They like just making it seem like they do things when they don't. They don't want to give you the bare minimum. They want to give you just a little bit. Like, okay, just go away. We gave you a little something. We gave you something. But why can't people just have full-on health care? Like, why we have to pay out of pocket for stuff when we're actually paying for Israel to get free health care? Where they do that at? But we got to pay out our pocket, but we paying for them? I don't think so. So y'all should be paying for your own shit. Oh, I can't stand this. You know that F word. And I was going to say it, but I'm Roz with maggot. But anyway, you said season 2? I could have sworn it was season 3. But you said, how can we poke Madonna? Because unlike the past, since she got older, she doesn't laugh at herself. Same. I was like, okay, she's still here doing handstands and things. She was funny when she was younger. As it would be really cool if someone did Madonna during the Letterman interview. That would be a good idea. And look, don't be wearing a damn kimono. They said basically the voters want to have conversations with the politicians. That's why the Democrats Democrats effed up. Well, look, that's why if you see Zoran out here talking to the people, he was trying to film a video or whatever on 34th Street, I believe. It was somewhere in Midtown. Because I was looking at the area. I was like, oh no, that was 34th Street. It was over on between 8th and 9th. Because I started noticing the area. I was like, wait, I work over there. But so he was doing a video and he could not get through so they used that as the video. He could not get through doing the video because everybody kept stopping him, wanting to take a picture. Somebody, I voted for you. My daughter told me about you, and this is why I said this is where the young people come. I say you young people like I'm old, but it's like the young people, the younger people, like those of you in your teens and your 20s who are first time voters and are really excited about him and all this other stuff. They're like, my daughter told me about you and all this other stuff, and that's why I voted for you and stuff. So I think like the kids have to inform their parents of what's going on in politics and get them excited, because the older people still thinking, oh, I'm going to stick with the status quo because who's better? Because they're listening, they're watching the eyewitness news, they're watching legacy media. Legacy media is cut to those, those corporations. So they're going to feed you BS. They're not going to give you the real tea like that you'll get from some of the pundits that you see on like YouTube and things and other streamers and things of that nature, like a Hassan Piker or a Crystal Ball or a Midas Touch, or even Sabby Sabs, or Kyle Kalinske, like those people, those who will really give you what's going on in the world, and not these idiots like that meathead, brainless bastard Joe Rogan. I don't know how people watch him. It's like literally watching. I feel like my brain is about to seep through my nostrils. Like I feel like my brain is melting when I watch him. I'm like, you cannot possibly be this stupid. But that's why I like the fact that a lot of young people out here informing their parents. Even I had to like tell my parents and stuff about Zoran and all this other, and all the things going on with that. She was like, "Yeah, don't be voting for no Cuomo. You can't trust him." I said, "Yeah, because he had all them old people, died on his watch during the COVID pandemic." So, that's so to answer your question, it was like yes, like he's out here, he's talking with the people, he's actually doing something that the centrist Democrats are not doing, which is listening to their constituents. And that's why people are excited. And that's why people like Eric Adams, who has been indicted and don't want to go to jail, that's why he wants to maintain his situation, because everybody apparently thinks they down on damn Trump. Now, I don't care how hard you suck on that baby peen, you're not going to get away with what you're getting away with. He can pardon you or do whatever, but we don't want you as mayor. We also don't want Cuomo. So, and we damn sure don't want Curtis Sliwa. I don't know why he keeps doing it. He's like the New York equivalent of Jill Stein. Like every time we have a political situation going on, why Curtis Sliwa always want to jump in and run for mayor? You're never gonna win. So can you stop? Continue to go around here in these streets and beating up people that ain't supposed to be getting beat up. I'm trying to remember, wasn't he also married to Lisa Evers that used to do Street Soldiers? Or was Street Soldiers still on? I don't remember, because I remember that show back in the day as a Hot 97. And you said the federal judges and other judges are powerless. Well, they allowed it to get to this point. What sucks is we are further left, and established politicians hate the fact that well, look, the old guard doesn't work anymore. That centrist BS that you've been feeding people are waking up. It's like I told you, a lot of people having their minds freed. They're unplugging from the matrix. So if y'all want to sit out here and still continue to feed people the BS from the establishment and the status quo, it's not going to work no more. People are waking up. And when you start to take things, allowing the other side to take things away from people, so that way people are still out here struggling, you don't want, and if somebody had the nerve to try to read Zoran, it's about, why you out here concerned for these people? I'm trying to remember who that was. Probably like Lauren Loomer or whatever her name, that ugly bitch. She didn't lay off the damn fixer. Stop putting that fixer flat in her damn face and her lips. So it was about, why should you care about all these people out here? You live in a $1 million apartment in Chelsea, which I believe is paid for by his mother, Mira Nair, who is a director. She directed Mississippi Masala, a bunch of stuff. So yes, he is a Nepo baby. So, but I'm like, just because he has money, he's not supposed to care about real American people in New York City. Like, he's not supposed to care. Like, even probably for him being rich or coming from a rich family or whatever the case is, like, should rich people not have empathy? Like, all rich people supposed to be assholes? Like, is that the mindset? Like, I don't get it. But this is how a lot of these types think. It's like, oh yeah, we have money, so that's why you have Cuomo and all these other morons going down to the Hamptons and all these other places, because that's where all the rich people reside. They also lean a little red down there too. and that's Long Island, so y'all should not be surprised. I sent you a video. News Nation interview with Gen Z Congressman ended when he asked Leland, is it okay for Trump to hate Democrats? He said, shut the F up, he's banned. No, you don't get to tell people who can hate and who can't hate. We just got to start throwing back the stuff that he throws at us. I was talking to my mom about Zoran, and she just went, probably because she couldn't believe he was Muslim. Look, yeah, all that Islamophobic propaganda that they're putting out here. Another thing I noticed too, I saw a recent poll. Speaking of Kyle Kulinski, they posted on his show today, said that basically the Democrats supporting Israel and everything that they're doing now has flipped significantly. So only 12% support what they're currently doing. So your little narrative, a lot of you with legacy media, what y'all doing regards of like, sucking on the teeth of Israel, it's no longer working because Democrats are waking up to, they've become hip to or privy to a lot of the shenanigans that y'all are out here trying to pull. You said their fan base aren't following them to YouTube, so I'm like, good luck, Joy Reid and others. The numbers aren't there. Well, yeah, they're. Well, yeah, because I think like, well, when you're on CNBC, MSNBC, CNN, all the little acronym letters, that I think some of them will follow them over there, but for the most part, they have to build I feel like maybe a lot of younger people will watch them. Like, I don't necessarily know how many people. I would have to look at the numbers in regards to who's watching Joy, because I have friends who, they watch TV, but they also watch YouTube and things of that nature. So they're watching Don Lemon and they're watching Joy. I don't watch Don Lemon. The minute I stopped watching when he brought Lipo Lee's stank ass on his show, and they started talking that BS about the Diddy the Tyler Perry, where y'all was sitting up there being Team Tyler Perry and all this mess. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. First of all, a bunch of self-hating faggots, the both of them, up in here trying to defend that mess. I was like, I'm out. Because at the end of the day, just because you jump in the YouTube space don't necessarily mean you legacy media. I mean that you're independent media, because you still coming out here with these legacy media talking points. And that's what Dawn Lemon Pepper Wings gives me whenever he opens his tight ass mouth, which is why I don't trust that hoe as far as I can throw her. Society has been conditioned to hate. Absolutely. And that was like since 9/11. Ever since that lie, there's a lot of people that believe all that mess. And if people start to flip and change and realize that, oh, they've been lied to, that all these things that they keep saying about Zoran, which is lies, they keep saying, oh, he needs to condemn, the anti-Semitism for Jews. I'm like, he has done that countless times. What part of that have you not heard? But you go on The View and spread this damn bullshit and this propaganda, and it pisses me off because you got that self-hating Muslim bitch on there too. Alyssa Farah Griffin, yes, she is Syrian, but she wants to sit up there and try to act like she's a fucking white woman. And I'm sick of a lot of you coloreds who run around here who act like because you are presenting white that you want to hide who y'all really are, because you have to push certain narratives because you still want to cook yourself to that industry mainstream dollar. And that's what she's doing because she works over there at ABC. So she's got to pull this mess and try to make Zoran. I was like, bitch, you're not even from New York. So we don't even give a damn what you think. The only New Yorkers that's on that panel is Sunny, Joy, and Whoopi. The rest of them bitches can kick rocks. Except for Anna. Anna's my girl. But the rest of them can kick rocks. But then also, I don't trust Sonny either, because Sonny be always up in here windmilling hard for Hakeem Jeffrey. That's our friend. They went to college. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you went to, Hebrew school with him. The fact of the matter is, if your classmate or whatever the case is doing some things or saying some things is not right, I'm calling him out. I don't give a good goddamn how many times we've gone out to dinner together. What you're not going to do is spread false narratives on TV for ratings. Well, she's not on MSNBC no more. But I guess you say you're not watching either. I'm not watching Joy Reid or MSNBC. MSNBC leans too much to the left. No, they're too centered left. And a lot of it, I won't even go on as far as to say that MSNBC and CNN are basically blue MAGA. It's very MAGA-light. Like, I don't even trust watching a lot of that stuff because of the companies that run these networks. or these news channels. So I don't watch a lot of it because I feel like you're not getting the real stuff. It's weird how like when you start to really unlearn a lot of the things that you learn over the years, you really start to see through the BS. He said, I want an unbiased opinion from my news source. I just give you, I just give y'all what needs to be given. I tried to be unbiased, and this is brother. I call out both sides, and people get mad when I come against. Oh, because somebody accused me. It was like, well, I was with I said something. I don't remember what the thing was, and they were like, oh, I was with you until you said this thing. So if you didn't vote for Kamala, you pretty much ushered Trump in, and it's like, so you're basically saying all those people that stood home just allowed Trump to become president. When actually there's a story that came out, and speaking of Kyle Kalinske, he did this interview with this guy where they talk about how there's in certain states they suppress votes, where she was actually up I believe 300,000 votes, and they did some doctoring, some cooking of the books, and there was a lot of scams going on. And now recently there was a story that came out that the Trump administration is currently trying to steal the 2028 election. So y'all need to be aware of what's going on. Yeah, they're out here literally trying to steal the next election. We haven't gotten to the midterms yet, but they're trying to pull whatever stunt they can to make sure that they continue to stay in power. So you got to get ahead of it. I didn't watch Joy Reid before, but enjoy her independence. Because I don't have MSNBC, so I didn't really watch her, but I would watch clips. And I have not yet watched her YouTube show, but a lot of times when it comes to these YouTube shows, they be a little too long. Like I don't have time to be sitting there watching. I appreciate y'all who sit here and watch what I be talking, the show I be doing, because I know we do some long shows. But I guess I do it in a different way where it's just like with certain other shows, I watch clips because it's like, okay, this topic I would be relatively interested in. Or sometimes they do like these members only type things where it's like, you got to go on a Substack or these other. I'm like, child, I pay too much money for too many damn streaming services. I ain't got money to be out here just throwing at Substacks and all other stuff. I mean, quiet as it's kept, I need some money too from based off of these shows that I be doing. So that's why I be putting so many out. But I was saying, I like Joy Reid. And look, I was glad that when she went, I was surprised that she actually went on one of the news channels especially after she got fired from MSNBC, and she went on the panel was calling them out. I guess you feel like, well, I don't work here no more, so now I can say what I need to really say. MSNBC has always been blue MAGA to Fox News. There is no balance, both sides news, because that would break the system, because they don't believe people can be both conservative or liberal. Absolutely. And I've always been saying that we're all complex. Nobody is either or. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some people that get in the cult and they lean way too into the foolishness. But for the most part, there are those of us who are fiscally conservative, but liberal in other ways. And I don't know why people have a problem with being like, yeah, we have different views, different points of view when it comes to certain things. Like when I was watching that interview that I was telling you about Danielle Harris, I had no idea how conservative she was in a lot of like how she was somehow how she lives in Texas, how she wanted to raise her boy. She was like, LA is a horrible place to raise your children. So she lives outside of Austin. And she was like, I want my sons to ride dirt bikes and do all the other stuff and be boys. And she feels like that she's they're gonna turn, she said this, she said, I feel like they're gonna turn to little bitches because at night they always want her to sleep with them and one of them wants their back rubs and all this other stuff. But what she had to realize is that when you're a kid, because of there's so much stress and craziness going on in the world, just you as a parent being in the room with them releases like this energy where it's like they feel safe because mommy is here to protect me, daddy is here to protect me. So when they lay up in the bed with you in the room, that's what that is. It's just that sense of security. It's not about babying them and this, that, and the other. It's just that kids want to feel safe at night because of what's so much going on in the world. And a lot of these kids are aware. I feel like I was glad that when I was a kid that I was able to grow up and have a sense of normalcy and not have to worry about so much craziness going on in the world. And I think it was because it was pre-social media. I don't know if maybe it was crazy back growing up in the 80s and in the 90s and if it was like that. I don't think it was. But I pity, I feel for a lot of these kids who grow up in the world of social media and all the stuff that they have to endure and everything that, all that stress. Like, I couldn't imagine having to go through all of that. We said Legacy Media, ABC, NBC, CBS is the closest to balance. I watch ABC and World News Tonight almost every day. With David Muir, I want that man to sit on my face. But, but I don't know. CBS is getting dragged right now because that little deal that they did with Trump. So they mad over there with Paramount Plus or Paramount, where they saying that there was some type of illegal situation because they're trying to get that merger. I think Skydance is trying to buy Paramount, and I don't understand why the president has a say in studios merging and stuff. Like, I thought that would be a Hollywood thing. Mm-hmm. He's like, I lean left, but sometimes. Wait, what happened? Why you gagging so? It's like, what I miss? All right. So that was a good little political rant. We tend to do one every day, apparently. All right. So now, since we was talking about Jennifer Lopez and Selena, let's just talk about Jennifer Lopez. So, uh, apparently she's dropping new music. I don't know if she's coming out with a new album, but apparently the music is going to be like, if you go see her overseas on her tour, you will hear the new music that she has coming out. And she previewed it last Tuesday. I don't know why we just now all of a sudden hearing about it today, but yeah, last Tuesday she apparently had like a little listening party for a select group of her fans, which I believe she calls J Lovers. And so, yeah, they said she invited 30 of her biggest LA-based fans to a top secret listening party on Wednesday, July 2nd, where she debuted 6 new songs, and Us Weekly has the exclusive details. Outreach to fans started on Tuesday, but it was all kept a surprise as to what was happening until they were in the room with Jennifer. This is according to an insider. Now, Lopez, who's 55, played 5 upbeat tracks, one called Up All Night, another song called Regular, another song called Free, another song called Save Me Tonight, and Birthday, and one ballad called Wreckage of You, all of which will appear on the set list for her upcoming international tour alongside greatest hits and fan favorites, including 2001's Play. They said Wreckage of You is a pop ballad that she told us she co-wrote and recorded 2 weeks ago. Attendee Edgardo Louis Rivera tells us. She said she was lying in bed after a day of tour rehearsals when the idea of the song came to her. She mentioned how last year was a very difficult time for her both personally and professionally. She had to cancel her tour and really focus on herself. Fast forward to 1 year later, and she feels better and stronger than ever. All right, Brittany, you feel stronger than yesterday? Then it says, so she wanted to write a song about coming out of a bad situation much stronger. Stronger than yesterday is yo made my way or the highway, however the lyrics go. But is your loneliness killing you, daughter? Now, what I want to know is, see, the funny part was they were talking about that it was a difficult time. She had to cancel the tour. It was like, yeah, you had to cancel the tour, niece, because nobody was buying tickets to that tour. You got a little overzealous. I just think that nobody cared about This Was Me Now or This Is Me Now, whatever the hell it was called. Nobody cared about the music. Nobody cared about the documentary. Nobody cared about the little mini movie that you did, mini musical. I still don't even know what to call it. Nobody cared about all of that you was putting out there. And then I think it just rubbed people, particularly Ben, you could see the discomfort in his face of you sitting out here gloating about your relationship. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody wants that little fairy tale relationship, the happily ever after, but to basically turn it into entertainment fodder, it just felt a little cringe. And I think that's what kind of hurt your relationship. Especially since Ben is someone who likes to keep his private life private. So now Lopez, who also divorced Ben Affleck last year, kept thinking of the word wreck because it means destruction, but she wasn't destroyed, Rivera shares. In fact, the lyrics of the song are I'm stronger than the wreckage of you. Ooh, those some fighting words. A second party goer tells us that Wreckage of You is a very emotional, empowering song about walking away from a relationship and coming out a stronger person. The other 5 tunes are fun, more Yennefer of old in terms of musical style, the first insider says, noting that everyone in the room went nuts for Birthday in particular. They're really good songs. They've got a real vibe to them. Well, I need y'all to kind of give me a little more than just uh they're more fun Jennifer or Jennifer of old, like musical style. Like I need a little more info. Like does it sound more similar to the not This Is Me now, This Is Me Then or Now or Never. We don't need no more mid-tempo ballads. Girl, you and I, Mariah, we don't need you giving those songs. I've always said what Jennifer needs to focus on is it doesn't sound like early Jennifer Lopez, like on the six. Does it sound like J-Lo? Or does it sound more like the Ja Rule era of J-Lo, the remixes? Or are we going more damn, I see the album in my damn head. The one where she had like where she went more dance pop, where she went and was working with Red One a lot. Like I want to know, does it have that more international dance pop vibe? Does it have an EDM type of vibe or whatever the case is? Like does that is it like a club track? Like what is the sound? Because Jennifer has jumped around in different genres, so I need to kind of know, does it have that, or is it kind of give like that whole New York, Bronx, I'm a hood chick, even though I was born in the suburban part of the Bronx type of vibe? Like, what is it giving? So I need a little more detail. I'm also curious to find out if any of this music is going to be released because, you have uh you have new music coming out that you're doing specifically for or exclusively for the tour. I just want to know if we actually going to hear these songs. Like, I don't know if people even care enough and be like, okay, I'm gonna put out a new album. I don't know if people care enough about that, but she might just drop those songs and as like an EP or something or another, and we'll hear them. And she'll probably even perform them on the what do you call it? The residency when she comes back to Vegas. When that happens, which I believe is at the end of the year. So they said that music wasn't the only surprise Yennefer had in store for her so-called J lovers at the intimate hour-long event. She also treated them to tickets to her New Year's Eve show in Las Vegas, as well as a swag bags containing t-shirts, signed posters, and J-Lo beauty products. They said it was really lovely, the insider basically told us, describing the party as a thank you to the multi-hyphenates, most loyal fans for all their support. Now, Jennifer Lopez, as I pointed out earlier in the show, but since we're doing this particular video, she's actually kicking off the show. I don't know if it's happening now or whatever. I don't know what time it is over in Spain. But yeah, she's supposed to be performing the tour. She might be performing as we talk about this. Like I said, I don't know the time. But so yeah, today, which is July 8th, is when the Up All Night tour kicks off before she takes it to countries including Italy, Turkey, Poland, Egypt, and Kazakhstan. Isn't Borat from Kazakhstan? I know Borat's not real, but you know what I'm saying. Her Vegas residency of the same name debuts on December 30th at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace. Now, those who want to hear Lopez's new, they said the only way you're going to be able to hear the songs. They said you have to purchase tickets, though, as Rivera tells us, the Grammy nominee admitted to the crowd on Wednesday event that she didn't know yet how or if she will release them. They said she feels very free right now, and on this summer tour, she wants to perform some new material that she's been working on because a lot of these new songs express how she feels. And you want to know something? I think that's a really good idea as an artist, but like, you know what? I'm kind of like feeling free and all this other stuff. I don't know if she's a part of a label or if she has like the similar deal to like a Kylie Minogue or something where, she has a distribution deal, but she's independent. So if that's the way she's going about it, like, you can release the music at any time, but if you feel comfortable enough, it's like, you know what, I'm gonna just go out here, I'm gonna just perform these songs in front of an audience. By the time it comes around, people get used to the songs. But then again, we'll probably all know these damn songs anyway because somebody on the YouTube is gonna record the stuff, post it on social media, and we'll hear what the songs sound like. So, I'm sure we'll hear the song sooner or later because they talk about purchasing tickets. I'm like, child, this is something called social media. The way the internet works, everybody's whole, like Kesha's whole Tits Out tour is already on YouTube. So You don't even have to really be paying, although it is a better experience to take your butt to the concerts versus watching a YouTube video and people making drastic comments about a tour when it's a different feeling being there versus watching the video that somebody recorded with their iPhone. So that's the latest on that. I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Jennifer Lopez releasing or recording new music and premiering it at her Up All Night tour that she's doing overseas? Fortunately, she's not doing America because y'all don't care enough to want to spend money to see her in the arena. So she's like, I'm not giving y'all that. Y'all just got to come see me at the residency in Vegas on December 30th. So let me know what you guys think of this latest story on Miss Jennifer Lopez in the comments down below. Well, I heard that. It must be thundering and lightning in the house. I heard that thunder. And you said they're signed to NDAs. Ooh. It's like she's been using the same formula for On the Six for years, and now nobody is. Anyway, well, that was always the thing I've always said about Jennifer Lopez is the fact that she is never like as a musician or an artist, music artist. She never evolved her sound. It never like, and she never grew her audience. Like over the years, we would see like a Beyonce, a Madonna, a Taylor Swift. A lot of those girls, for example, who've been making music and doing touring for a long time, they're at the point where their fandom is multi-generational. So a lot of the people grew up with their music and still sticks with them. I don't feel like she took the music thing seriously and she just didn't evolve her music. You say AI shared version of J-Lo's. I should have said A1. Who was that idiot one apologist to call the A1? I think it was Vince McMahon's wife. BMG. Oh, BMG dropped her. The album sold less than Unbreakable, so BMG wasn't going to make money at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like that music because nobody wanted that, whatever that music was that she was making. Nobody told her to go out and come out with another "I'm in Love" bunch of ballads. Well, we all know how she got them paper thin vocals. So you should have came out with some pop stuff, but it is what it is. All right, y'all. So now let's move on into this Ricky Martin story because apparently he's being dragged on social media because I feel like some people are misconstruing what he basically was out here posting. So Ricky Martin, or apparently somebody went and posted well, not somebody, it was Dazed. They went and posted this picture. I was like, where's it? Oh, so yeah, they posted this picture basically of what you could see Hunter Schafer. Then we have, I think Isaac Gonzalez is here. Then we have right next in the middle, that's Isaac Gonzalez, I believe. And then right here, you see is Karol G. Then we got Dula Peep. And then with all this foolishness, where it looked like she just came from, the house of Traitors, we got freaking Cardi B. Before, when she was on the red carpet, she had like a bird. And people was like, why is she out here with the bird? And then all of a sudden everybody trying to act like PETA. But she was actually very respectful of the bird because people was out there, the photographer screaming to get her attention. She was like, stop screaming because you're going to scare him. Which I did laugh at because it was showing like she was genuinely concerned for the bird. But Ricky Martin's out here showing support for Colombian superstar Karol G because she was omitted from a Dazed magazine Instagram caption following Paris Fashion Week. Now, the controversy stemmed from a video of Dula Peep, Cardi B, and Hunter Schafer and Karol G sitting at the front row of the Schiaparelli show in Paris Fashion Week. A fashion account called Dazed posted the video online with text that named Dula Peep, Cardi B, and Hunter, but neglected to make any mention of Karol at all. That kind of reminds me of that video of I think it was, who was it? I think it was Matthew McConaughey and Emma Roberts having a conversation. And they literally was like, and Gillian Anderson was in between them. And they sitting there having a full conversation in front of her like she not there. I'm like, first of all, I don't need y'all exchanging hot breath in front of me. Like, you're literally in, like, that's rude. I don't like that shit. I don't even like when I see that stuff on the train where if I'm sitting in the middle and y'all sitting whatever and y'all trying to have a conversation in between, like, no, I don't need y'all. I don't, let's not. And people were saying like it was just being disrespectful. But I do agree with that whole situation. I'm like, why is this stuff popping open? Okay, so now they said, leaving to the defense of the Colombian songstress, Ricky wrote snidely in the comments, excuse me, but who are the ladies sitting next to at Karol G? Which I don't know if you could wait, hold on. Is it in there? No, it doesn't say. It basically says Hunter Shaver, that whole sort of thing. But yeah, there is a tweet where I did see where he said that. Now, Mexican actress Isa Gonzalez added her voice to the choir, pointedly noting in the comments of the TikTok post, and Karol G, by the way. And Isa Gonzalez, for those who don't know who she is, she's an actress. I just recently saw a movie with her on Shudder called Ash, which was quite interesting. I'm still trying to figure out what to make of it. Now, fans were split, and some expressing chagrin that Karol was not included as others felt Ricky was being overdramatic and Karol was not as famous as the others. According to who? Because let's be clear, Karol G is very famous. Maybe not to a lot of you, but I mean, I don't know how she's not famous. She just had her latest album just debuted at #2 on the Billboard 200. Yeah, it slipped because Lord done took that spot. I think it's like in 5th place or something or another. So it slipped down, I believe, 3 spots. But nevertheless, Karol G is very much well known. She's selling out stadiums all over the world. She has a hit documentary on Netflix. So maybe you don't know who Karol G is, but trust and believe a lot of people do. And if she wasn't known, her ass would not be sitting front row, and especially at Paris Fashion Week. But of course, Americans, because y'all don't know your ass from a hole in a wall, y'all come with the shade. But speaking of shade, let's get into it. So one person said, not mentioning Karol G is insane. She's the first person I saw, wrote one, as another said, I saw Karol G before anyone else was mentioned. Who else? Okay, that don't make no sense, but okay. Another person said, no shade or disrespect, but Karol G is bigger than Dula Peep and Hunter Schafer. This was weird. That actually is true because Dula Peep, while popular, y'all didn't care about radical optimism. Y'all was living for future nostalgia, but radical optimism was a flop. And Hunter Schafer, she's done neon movies, A24, all that. Like she's doing independent films. We know her from Euphoria, but she hasn't had that big breakout role yet. So I do agree that Karol G is bigger than those two. Now, if we're going to sit up here and talk about Cardi B, that's different. Because as it was stated on this show before, she's nothing more than an influencer that does music as a hobby. Those are not my words. That is one of the friends of the show. But it is funny though. Another person said, put some respect on my Latina mommy, Karol. And a fifth wondered, y'all don't like Karol G or what? Now, Karol G is the biggest Latina artist, more streams than any of these women, and yet is not mentioned. Wow, SMH, an observer marveled. Others wrote, how they not going to mention the biggest Latina star, LOL, Karol G, and not mentioning Karol G is insane. Y'all need to do better. And she's one of the biggest female, like from Colombia, like biggest Latin acts on the planet. Like if you put, she's the biggest female, the biggest male is Bad Bunny. So if y'all put them two together, they're like the biggest stars on the planet right now. So I do agree. Like I don't know, Dazed, are they American? Because I haven't seen Dazed magazine. Like I've looked at their like I've checked out the magazine before, so I'm aware of them. But I'm not necessarily sure if they're American magazine because a lot of time when I used to look at a lot of these out there where the buses don't run type mags, I always thought they were like from the UK or something or another. Now, on the opposite side was one Twitter user who felt Ricky was being over dramatic for no reason. Karol G is not known outside Latin America and Spanish-speaking communities. Cardi B and Dula Peep are bigger than her. You know, I'll be intentionally calling her Dula Peep. Just because she has streams doesn't mean she's big. She's a local Latin act. Now that's hilarious. It's like, and I think that was a black person that wrote that. So just because you don't speak Spanish and just because you don't know who she is, what you're not going to do is sit up in here and diminish her as nothing more than a local Latin act because she's not. Local Latin acts don't sell out stadiums. They don't. So And you don't have to make her tickets $25 to fill up seats. Another argued that the celebrities in the front row who were named by Dazed were much more known than Karol, so why is he trying to be shady? Another joke, men see three women succeeding and immediately lose all brain function. And a fourth vamped, who TF is Ricky Martin? Well, y'all know good and goddamn well who Ricky Dan Martin is. Y'all tried it. So you sit up here trying to be cute with your little comments. Sis, it's not going to work. What are you talking about? Who's Ricky Martin? Ricky Martin's still out here doing his thing. He was out here just recently touring. Let's see, what else did they say? Oh, another person said that's Ricky Martin. Haven't seen that guy since the early 2000s. Talk about irrelevant. You mean back when MTV was a thing? And they said, ladies, there are much more known, ladies that are much more known than Karol. So, oh yeah, I read that one already. So now, Ricky's defense of Karol came after she praised him in the telenovela-inspired trailer for her album Tropical Queta last month. Now, after the rocking clip features Karol alongside actual Latin soap stars Itati Cantoro, Ninel Conde, Gabby Spanik, Azella Robinson, and Anahi. At the center of the storyline is a romantic rivalry between Anahi and Karol, who are both swooning over the framed photo of Ricky in the 90s. So he was out here defending her, as rightfully so. I don't see why it's an issue that he's out here defending one of his fellow Latin contemporaries. But for people to try to diminish Ricky's career when Ricky is someone who is an icon within the music industry, he has been getting more into acting as of late, but he's a legend. He's an icon. He's not someone who needs to release new music. And yet, I mean, he has been releasing new music. It's been in Spanish, but for the most part, he doesn't need to release music anymore. He still can get out there. He can still tour, and he still sells out arenas and stadiums. So for people trying to discredit him, it's hilarious. And the whole situation with Karol G, she didn't need that disrespect. Whether you like her or not, you need to know, like, yes, she is that girl out here eating up the charts, and not just in Latin music spaces. She's doing it also on the Billboard 200 because her album for the past 2 weeks has still been in the top 5. So if you don't know, now you know. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what the people was out here throwing? Do y'all think that Ricky was overreacting? Maybe he was, but and I think it's just like it was just, he was trying to read, but it got lost in translation. Who these ladies sitting next to Karol G? Maybe he could have just set it up as just like, you know what, the disrespect was unwarranted. You know, Karol G and lay out all of her accolades and stuff and really eat up Dazed in the comments. But you didn't have to throw the straight at Cardi on because they didn't do nothing. I'm sure they knew who Karol G is. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Right. You said them angels and gods making it clap for the heavenly pearl gate. Dare I say racially motivated? Mm-hmm. He said even if she isn't a household name to non-Latino Americans, she's definitely been making more noise music-wise. Absolutely. And the fact of the matter is, she doesn't even have to like compromise who she is just so that way y'all would know her damn music. Meaning that she doesn't have to come over and all of a sudden translate her music to English in order to be accepted in Anglo markets. Bad Bunny didn't have to do it, and look at how big of a superstar he is. And he's giving the middle finger to America with his upcoming tour. He's like, I'm not coming here what I need to come here for. Especially with this current administration. Y'all don't need my money. And I don't blame them. So why should she have to sell out her, compromise who she is? And it's like, yeah, Dula Peep, ain't nobody out here listening to her music. Like I said, y'all didn't care enough about that damn Radical Optimism album. I almost forgot she's supposed to be touring this fall at the Garden, 4 nights. Hope them tickets sell. Zendaya, Sydney, and Jacob are all bigger names. No shade, but that part. I mean, we don't really be seeing Hunter. I mean, I like Hunter Schafer, but her career ain't out here popping like the rest of them. Days magazine. Okay, so it is a British magazine. But still, put some respect on her name. It's almost as if nobody is happy Karol G is where Shakira. It sounds like a race and generational issue is happening. Because I guess if you're not in Karol G demographic, why would you know it? Well, they both Colombian, so they got that in common. Sounds like this an artist who refused to do English language Latin-based music. Ricky did, but he went back to Spanish language. Well, because back in the day, that was kind of a thing that Latin artists felt they had to do. And when we had the Latin explosion, that you couldn't come in and do your music fully in Spanish and still reach people. And I think what helped a lot of those artists, like a Karol G and a Bad Bunny, is the rise of reggaeton music. Thanks to like people like Don Omar and Daddy Yankee and a lot of those artists who came out and was doing that, and how the sound has evolved in the past 20 some odd years. That was why they were able to be like, you know what, we don't have to compromise who we are and water down our culture in order for us to succeed in the United States, which I don't understand why. It's because it's still that mentality of white is right. And that's the dominant race that we need to conform to whatever it is that they want. It's like Western colonialism. And so people feel like, so it's just like, we don't have to compromise who we are. We can do music in Spanish and people will like it. And that is true. There are people who don't speak Spanish that go to these concerts because they like the artist. And I don't think you have to speak the other people's language in order to enjoy the music. Ricky Martinez Caliente. Look, that's a good looking man. And Dula Peep Toe hasn't been making any noise compared to Sabrina's Hyde Park shows. Not stay on vacation. Yeah, because I have been seeing Sabrina touring as of late. Gloria Estefan was one of the first artists to do Spanish and English albums. So yeah, she walks. So all the rest of these girls can run. Hunter's probably not going to get cast in anything with this Trump administration. If I were her, I would move to Europe because this administration is going to make sure you'll never find work. She'll probably still get cast because it's like he don't control Hollywood. So she'll get look. She's doing the new season of Euphoria, and she'll probably get work. It would be interesting. I hope they do cast a trans woman to be Mystique, though. That's why I want Hunter to be Mystique. I feel Miss Pete is going to become early 2020s, not early 2020s nostalgia, like what Katie is to the early 2010s. But Katie had 2 successful albums from her peak era. Yeah, and this girl only had 1. I know Christina Aguilera recorded a Spanish album. It's about Mi Reflejo. It's like, I didn't like the Spanish album. It was just reggaeton and Latin pop. I was hoping to hear her do something different. Oh, you talking about Christina? Yeah, it was all right, that EP that she did. But I remember back in the day she did like did she do a Spanish language version of her debut album? Because I do remember there's a Spanish language version of Genie in a Bottle. Because she was trying to play on a whole, her Ecuadorian side. But anyway. All right, y'all. So we got about 4 more topics left in today's show. And then wait, no, we don't. We don't have 4 more topics. We got a lot more than that. I was like, wait a minute, what about drag race stuff? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. We got about 6 more topics, I should say, until we're done with today's show. So before we get, since we're at the halfway point, could please do me a solid if you have not already, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And as y'all know, the usual, I will definitely be putting timestamps in the show once the live stream is done, so that way you can just follow along with the topics at hand instead of just sitting through all the banter that we do during the live feed. Okay, but I mean, it is good if you listen to the stuff we say in there too, because it is messy and informative. All right, now, without further ado, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Bad Bunny, since we was already speaking about him. Now, some people feel like with this little slide that he did over on the IG, that he threw a little shade at his ex, Kendall Jenner, where the second slide basically said, stop dating people who don't get your music. And a lot of people immediately jumped to the conclusion that he was talking about Miss Kendall. So the Puerto Rican superstar, who's 31, shared a photo dump to Instagram on Monday, July 7th, that included a photo of a baseball cap with a very pointed note written on it. As you can see, the dump also included landscape photos, photos of food, a selfie, and more. And then some people thought he was actually recording new music too. Now, while Bad Bunny did not name names, fans were quick to question whether his hat was possibly aimed at his ex-girlfriend, Kendall Jenner. The stop dating people who don't get your music seem targeted. Love this, one fan wrote, while another added, that second pick was for Kendall. They did the laugh emojis too. Now, Natiti Mi Pregunto, singer, reportedly split from Jenner. I almost wanted to call her Hannah, who's 29 for a second time last year. He also dated Gabriella Berlingeri from 2017 to 2022. Bad Bunny and Jenner were first linked in February 2023 after going on a double date with Justin and Hailey Bieber. So there's your problem. You let that witch hook you up with her. Don't be following that stupid ass Hailey Bieber. And then you getting around with them Jenners. First of all, we already knew like anything with a car Jenner in it, these are clout chasing whores. They're not interested in really being with men for who they are. It's who is the hot commodity of the moment. And you getting with her and dating her and all this other stuff, that adds a little more cachet because the influencer crowd and everything will be interested in who's this hot new rapper or whatever the case. Well, he's not new, but he's been around for a minute. But who's this hot rapper that's running around with this one of the car Jenners or whatever the case is, and let's get all up in a situation, and it gets people interested in him. Even though Bad Bunny was famous in his own right, he did not need the stamp of approval from the Kardashians or the Jenners, or as I like to combine them both, the Jenners, in order to bring a little more cachet to his situation. So yeah, and then they said that in May of last year they were seen laughing together at the Met Gala after party. Now they say it's going well and they're prioritizing spending time together as they figure it out. So they're not together anymore. In January, Bad Bunny opened up by his album, the new one, which is called I should have made more photos, and explained that his songs aren't always written specifically with someone in mind. He says, I have written songs inspired by people that people don't have a effing clue who they are. It's what he told Time Magazine. So the meaning of the song can vary in many things, like the absence of a person who's no longer with you or love, and it could be many other things too that are no longer there. Now, he's about to do his residency in Puerto Rico. It kicks off this month. It'll run through September. And I believe he's also supposed to be doing like a world tour. He's not coming to the United States. So I hope those of y'all that plan on trying to go to these concerts, that y'all be able to get back into the country, because you already know how these morons how they trying to make sure a lot of us don't come back. So do I think that this was a dig at Kendall? I mean, who else would it be a dig towards? Because we know she don't speak the Espanol. So I would not be surprised if he was talking about her. And then it was something like, yeah, it was just like maybe she just wasn't interested in you. And I think she was interested in you for the clout and the attention. Because quiet as kept, a lot of people was out here running around with the rumor that Kim was a lesbian. So to throw them that scent off of the people, and then they said she got back with some basketball players shortly after. So I do agree with that. Don't get involved in relationships with people who don't get you and your artistry. But then again, if I'm an artist, I don't want people into me for the sake of my talent and what I do. That's a separate thing from me wanting to, because, the artistry is the artistry. Get to know me as a person. So good luck, y'all. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of, do you think that Bad Bunny was throwing a little jab at his ex-girlfriend, who he feels doesn't get his music? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Roinks. You said, oh, is that my camera? He said, yeah, she did do a Spanish language album. Genie in a Bottle was one of the songs. Mm-hmm. And you said, I would listen to my favorite Xena song of all time earlier today. I Got Trouble, but she'll always be I mean, it's no shade, but yeah, she was unfortunate. She'll always be in the shadow of Miss Britney Jean Spears. It's not our fault. It's just the way the industry the industry made it that way. Okay, yo, let's talk about Miss Mary J. Because, child, the people out here talking about they want refunds. I wonder if they want refunds for Lauryn Hill with the show that she did. I think she performed at the Essence Music Fest where she was out here looking like she was about to beg me for spare change. But yeah, so Mary was out here doing that thing that she does. Where, it just seems like every time I talk, everybody except Mary knows that she can't dance. Now, but at the end of the day, the people don't purchase tickets to watch her dance. She gets up there and does her little, her hood booger stuff, and people live for it because Mary is from Yonkers. So we live for Mary being Mary. But now they're talking about that because she performed at London's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where I don't know why I thought she did Essence Music Fest, but no, she did. She was out in London performing on stage, and I do got the performance, so y'all can watch this mess courtesy of the Neighborhood Talk. Please hold as I pull it up, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold. Hold on, I gotta mute that because then you might get in trouble with that. It's like Mary always, and you know what? Whenever Mary performs, she always moves like her feet hurt. What is she doing? But that's Mary. Mary be up there looking crazy, and y'all be eating. The people be eating it up. Set off, I suggest, y'all. Set off, I suggest. Now set it off. Y'all want this party started right? Y'all want this party started quickly. Yeah. So, yeah. So now they said she was playing the packed out crowds at London's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on July 3rd, now dressed in a bedazzled cobalt colored corset top and matching trousers, complete with oversized blue sunglasses. Mary showed off her hilarious and unbothered dance moves as she performed her hit track Just Fine. A video of the performance circulated far and wide on social media with some users calling out her low effort movements. They said paying to see Mary J. Blige perform live is a choice I'd never make, one Twitter user slammed. Another speculated Mary needs to adjust her choreography to her capability. If that means she's standing still singing, so be it. Right now, this looks bad and she just hates being on stage. Maybe she has aches and pains. Who knows? Another person said, the epitome of go girl, give us nothing. And I love that for her. Another joke. Some people have got to know when to hang it up. Another said, hitting at Mary's retirement. Why people always got to go there with that? First of all, let me go and say this. I feel like, well, there's some people that defended Mary in the comments. I'm going to defend her on this too. Like, I worked her tour, her show with what was it called? The For My Fans tour, which kicked off back in January of this year. She met, and they had Neo and Mario were like the supporting acts before she came out and did her thing. Mary's performs down. She comes out with the fur coats, the fancy outfits, the thigh-high boots, the ghetto fabulous, fashions and all that other stuff. So Mary gonna give you performance. Mary gonna give you glam. Mary gonna give you all of that. But she also gets up on the stage and she'll give you her little, her little 1-2 step or whatever. And the fans from when I worked the show, they was loving it. They were like, go Mary, go Mary. Like that was we was giving. Well, they was giving. I wasn't. I was being professional and I was working. But the people that were there were talking about go Mary, like they were living for it. So they up in there dancing and having a good time. So these are people who are watching this on the thing, who are making comments, but then they did say that people was demanding refunds. So we got to get to what they said in a second. But so it's like, that's what Mary does. And she up there wearing them boots or whatever. Mary's in her 50s. So them feet be killing her. When she up there wearing them shoes, them heavy ass high heel shoes. So yeah, of her trying to get up there and do the crazy choreography, I don't think she's trying to keep up with her dancers. She just kind of give you a little something while the dancers do all the harder dancing. So yeah, another one. So the people who defending her said this: people go for her voice, not her dancing, which is true because Mary do sing down. Another person said, well, she's 54. What do you want her to do? A backflip or something? And I guarantee you, if Benson Boone is around at 54, trust and believe he ain't gonna be doing no damn flipping off no pianos either. And y'all gonna be mad because like, what, you can't be, why you not doing your flips? Because he old. That's why. He got back pains. He just had 2 hip replacements. He ain't gonna be up there doing no damn flips at 54. That's if he's still around with a career. A third added, she may be tired, sick, or even in pain. We never know what people like Mary J. Blige are going through. Another person says she is on stage doing what she loves, surrounded by people who support her. That's winning. Another person says she's 54, man. Another said, that was me trying to do Boosie mad ass. And then another person, then they said, I wouldn't be mad if she sat down the whole concert to hear her sing. Another person said, I would absolutely pay to see Mary dance like an auntie. She probably get mad at y'all for calling her, Aunt Mary. Now, Mary has been performing the London show alongside 50 Cent as part of his legacy tour. So Mary been out here looking good and all this other stuff, but it seemed like people's out here enjoying it. So who are these people out here that want refunds? Because it seemed like everybody was having a good time, and Mary just giving you Mary when she on that stage. But so yeah, as I said, she did wrap up the For My Fans, so I should have pointed that out. She has 3 upcoming shows in Europe, with the next performance set to take place in Portugal for Afro Nation on July 10th. And she will play North Sea Jazz Festival 2025 in the Netherlands on July 11th before playing the Paris La Défense Arena on July 13th. So she's doing a lot of the festival circuits right now, which is what a lot of artists are out here doing. And I just feel like people are just overreacting at this point. Because it's like, you know what? Marriage is being Mary. And y'all need to relax, because she give you basically what you see is what you're gonna get with her performing. And it's like, yeah, we don't, for people who have actually seen her live, and like I said, I worked her show, people aren't going to see Mary. I mean, I guess part of it is they know Mary gonna do her little dance, kind of like Little Kim with the, that stupid dance that she do. People go and see Mary do her little crazy dance, and they live for it because they know it's a part of the show. So I guess a lot of you people who complain are just outsiders looking in rather than real Mary fans. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all think people are just out here overreacting and Mary just having a good old time up there performing? And they talking about she's showing little effort. I'm like, at 54, I'm not, I mean, look, everybody can't be Madonna in their 50s out here doing crazy choreography and parkour and all that other stuff, which she was doing at the time of the Confessions tour. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mary is tired and probably needs to retire if she can't do the dance. And she reminds me of when singers are at the end of the But yeah, and I was like, you want to know something? If that's the case, you don't need to get up there and dance. It's like, just like moving around the stage, like give me some of this while I'm hitting them notes. It was kind of like the when I was watching this video, and they even said this about Madonna. Like Madonna is 65, right? 66. I can't remember. She's in her 60s. And I was like, you don't need to be out here doing these crazy dances and all this other stuff anymore. Just get up there, sing the songs, wear the costumes. You can do a little something, something, but I don't need you doing crazy ass choreography. You don't need to be doing that. Like I said, you're guaranteed, well, unless he's still agile, Benson Boone is not going to be doing no damn backflips on no pianos at no 54. Yeah, she is almost 60. They said they want a refund, even though she got up there and still performed. Is the recession that? Yeah, that's the funny thing too. When people talk about we want a refund, bitch, you sat through the whole damn show. Shut up. If you sat and watched the whole thing, you're not getting no damn refund. That's like when people complain. They go see a movie, they pay for the ticket, they go in, watch the whole thing. I didn't like it. Can I get a refund? No, because you sat and watched the whole damn thing. So you got what you paid for. And art is subjective. You have to go in with the notion on whether or not you're gonna like or dislike the movie. Which I'm glad to hear so far. A lot of people talking about they like the new Superman movie, which I'm just glad that all of this stuff is coming out. So now a lot of y'all could STFU. We'll still have the people out here complaining, but I'm looking forward to giving my review on it when I finally get around to watching it. Exactly, people being cheap. Mary and the diva in the next topic are gonna do what they do best at that age. Was that a Janet Reid? Because that's the next topic. Now, speaking of Janet, let's talk about her, because apparently word on the street is she out here hunching Maxwell. Now, when I saw this today, I was not expecting this situation to be on my bingo card, but let me bring that picture up so that way y'all can see, because they talking about they were spotted holding hands while they went to go see Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club, which I didn't know they had a Kit Kat Club and Cabaret performing out in London. So there it is. But first of all, the outfits is cute. Jenna looks good and looks happy. And I think Jenna definitely need her a Van Hunt, somebody to clean her pipes, because Hallie looked real happy with Van Hunt. But I just want to give y'all that so y'all can see the hand holding the situation. So it says the 59-year-old megastar was seen arriving hand in hand with fellow R&B singer Maxwell to a date night at the famed Playhouse Theatre in London on Monday night. Jenna and the 52-year-old This Woman's Work hitmaker sparked rumors as they made their way to attend the 1500th performance of Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club. The Rhythm Nation star looked happy to have fingers intertwined with Maxwell as she had a big smile on her face while headed into the performance. Jenna donned an all-white, including baggy suit of crisp dress shirt and accessorized with dangling earrings. Her light brown braided locks were put in a bun at the top of her head as she showcased her evergreen looks with contemporary makeup topped off with a swipe of shiny lip. Maxwell was the yin to her yang in all black, including a dapper double-breasted pinstripe suit over a striped shirt and tie. He finished off the sleek look with a pair of black patent leather dress shoes and designer sunglasses with red lenses. The two have been seen together at multiple events, but have never looked as cozy as they did on the outing. Jenna has been relatively private about her personal life for most of her time in the public eye. And that was weird because I'm like, wait a minute, y'all said that they've been kind of spotted out in a lot of situations. Where the hell have I been? Because I had no idea that Janet was out. All I knew about Miss Jackson was the fact that she was running around here doing her tours, the Together Again tour, the residency, back and forth with all of that. So I had no idea that she and Maxwell were a thing. But if they are, it's cute. But as far as the problem with Janet always been real secretive with her relationships. Remember, we didn't even know she's married to Renee Elizondo all them years. Then she went and married one of the DeBarges. Then she secretly married the Qatari businessman Wissam Al-Manah in 2012 after they met in 2006 and began dating in 2010. Then she had a child with him, Issa Al-Manah, in January 2017 at the age of 50. So I don't know how old the child is now, but if he's about 7 or 8. Now in April 20, I did see a picture of her with him recently. I'm like, he's a cute little baby. Now in April 2017, it was revealed that Janet and Wissam had separated, and were heading to divorce. Well, has it been finalized? Because I don't know. I think Janet's still married to him. I ain't hear nothing about a finalization of the marriage. They said before that she dated music producer, I don't know what the hell she saw in Bug-Eyed Jermaine Dupri over 7 years from 2022 to 2009. I think y'all put that backwards because it's from 2009 to 20. It said for over 7 years from. You gonna say from 2022 to 2009? Is that in reverse or is that what Britain? So y'all put everything in reverse. Janet was married 2 times previously, including eloping with singer James DeBarge in September of 1984, before it was annulled the following year. In March of 1991, she married dancer, songwriter, and proofread y'all stuff before y'all hit send, please. You wrote dancer twice. It said dancer and songwriter Renee Elizondo Jr., as the union was kept a secret until the divorce was made public in May of 2000. Maxwell, born Gerald Maxwell Rivera, has never been married, but has been romantically linked to several stunners, including Matthew McConaughey's longtime wife, Camila Alves, whom he dated in 2004. Now, I did not know that he was out here messing with the ex-wife, or the current wife of Matthew McConaughey, because he got 3 kids with her. He was also linked to Sade, Doubts and Crows in 2016. Selena Ebanks wasn't also Nick Cannon messing with Selena Ebanks at one point from 2009 to 2010, and Julissa Bermudez in 2014. If I'm not mistaken, I think Julissa is now with Colin Kaepernick. Maxwell also dated MTV. Damn, he got around. He even dated Ananda Lewis, who y'all know just passed away at 52 after battling stage 4 cancer. So he had him because Julissa, I believe, was a VJ too. He liked the VJs apparently. Well, he was always at MTV. He's been credited with, and he definitely gives me like, I like to burn incense and bang chakras and all that other stuff. He's been credited with popularizing neo soul for the mainstream audiences in the late '90s, along with the likes of Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, and D'Angelo. His hit songs include 1997's "This Woman's Work," 1999's "Fortunate," and 2009's "Pretty Wings." And he also went to school with my cousin because he lived out in Queensbridge and that whole area. So, my cousin went to school with him and also Nas. So, congratulations, I guess, Janet. If you got you a new man, don't secretly marry this one. But anyway, I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of the story regarding Miss Jackson? If you nasty, got her new man at home, allegedly. So, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Child. Oh, I saw that clip too. And the picture that I posted a meme on my friend's page. Remember when Mary did like a ball and she had to put up Tim's or a chop? I basically posted the one that she did. It said chop on it. Of course, everybody was laughing. Because it was like, Y'all sat up in here and thought Tamar was going to eat that version of that song. It's like, no, there's a reason why Mary covered that song. Like, I don't know what Tamar thought she was doing. And a lot of these girls, because they think that they have like these strong, amazing vocals or whatever the case is, that you could just do whatever you want with the song. It's like, no, you just didn't have the cadence, that X factor that Mary brought to that song. So I'm listening and I'm like, And it was the same thing. Like, I love Deborah Cox. Deborah Cox sings down. But when she was up there doing what she was doing, I'm like, ma'am, your voice is going all over the place. What are you doing? I don't know if they get nervous and they always want to like vocal. I can't stand a vocal masturbator. That's like someone who I feel like wants to just show out in front of everybody. It's like, bring that down, sis. Like, we know you can sing. Now you're out here sounding stupid. Yeah, we saw him. He's the billionaire. But I don't know if they finalized the finalized divorce or not. I didn't even know she wasn't with him anymore. And I'm a big Janet fan. Pop Base doesn't talk about the older Divas relationship. Yeah, there was a whole thing where they had split. I remember they were talking about divorcing, whatever the case was. And I think that's why she lives in London, because he lives in London. And I think that's part of the deal, that she has to kind of stay out there. So that's her home, her residency of where she lives. Now Janet had a baby and left him. Maxwell is one of the most forgettable faces from the neo soul era, but hey, at least mother is happy. That's what I say, because one of the funny things was, I used to listen to a lot of neo soul back in the day. I never got into Maxwell like that. Like, I would listen to Music Soul Child before I listened to or D'Angelo before I listened to Maxwell. Maxwell was never that dude that really got me interested. He kind of reminds me of like the neo soul equivalent of The Weeknd. Like, he was just like, okay, I get what you're doing, but you're not really grabbing me. So it was kind of like that. They kind of favor each other too, even down to the crazy hair. Although at least, he did his hair. All right, y'all. So now let's get into this NeNe Leakes story. So I don't know if y'all were aware, but NeNe Leakes was rumored to be a part of season 4 of the Traitors. She was one of the people that was named, because that was the team was. And then now that she's in the good graces of NBC Universal, Bravo, she kind of killed things over between her and Andy. Then now she was going to go over and do the Traitors. Well, yeah, she was actually supposed to be in Traitors season 4, which I don't know if they're done already or they're still filming, and I guess Monet Exchange been murdered, because she's already back doing sibling rivalry with Bob, unless they already concluded filming or whatever. Because like when they do these reality shows, it takes about a month to film anyway. So apparently NeNe Leakes is supposed to be on the show. Now we know it's been confirmed, because there was always rumors. And she is actually opening up as to why she has not on the upcoming season of The Traitors. So, in a new interview, the former Real Housewives of Atlanta star is corroborating that she was offered a place in the castle and explained why she ultimately declined to participate. She said, quote, I was asked to do The Traitors. I was really excited about doing it, by the way. This is what she said on the latest episode of the Humble Bag with Crystal and Cynthia podcast. Because, in case y'all were wondering, Crystal Kung Minkoff, who was on Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I believe Cynthia Bailey, who's now back on Atlanta, have a podcast together. But I was like, see, I told you everybody got a damn podcast. I couldn't do Traitors because my son is in the hospital, and he's still in the hospital. My son has been in the hospital since May. Now, Leak's son Brent had a stroke at 22 and recently had a heart transplant. The reality TV personality explained that his heart started rejecting the transplant and has been hospitalized to stop the rejection. She also said that he recently turned the curve and has a little while longer to recover. She said, I'm so glad I said no. This is what she said about declining the Traitors offer. Leaks explained that when she was offered the show, they gave her the production dates, and she had initially thought her son would be better by the time filming came around. She said, I kept thinking maybe Brent would be much better by June. My fear was committing and then having to go back to them and say, I can't do it. So what was never going to work, so that was never going to work. Brent was very sick. It was no way I could have committed to it. And I believe you have to go out of the country to film the show. Yes, sis, you have to go to Ireland because that's what you're doing. You're staying in a castle. Or is it Scotland, I believe? So yeah, you gotta get your passport, and I'm sure you have one. You get on a plane and you go outside of the United States to film the show. It is not filmed here. Now, she saw her casting on The Traitors as a chance to do all these great things and come back really strong, but it was not going to happen with her son in the hospital. The Glee alum also mentioned rumors on social media that claimed that she declined the Peacock competition series due to the check not being big enough. She said, no, I got the check. If Brent had been in the place that he's in today, I would have went. We can FaceTime. He's talking. He wasn't walking at the time. Now he's walking. He's talking. The cast of The Traitors. Now I do wonder who was it that she replaced. I want to know, was it because out of the housewives that's on there, was it Portia that got the call at the last minute to come do it? Because Portia jumped on being a part. It might have been Portia because right after they filmed the reunion, I'm sure she got up on that plane and went over and filmed The Traitors. Or was it Caroline Stanbury from Dubai? Was it Candace Dillard Bassett from Potomac? Was it Lisa Rinna, who was part of the Beverly Hills crew? Or Dorinda Medley, who did it last season? They bringing her back again. And who knows? I do like Dorinda, and I wonder if they'll bring Dorinda back for like every season, kind of like how they do in New York with House of Villains, because New York so far has done every season of House of Villains, even the upcoming third season. Now, other part of the show include Donna Kelsey, the mother of NFL star. I don't know why y'all got the parent of a celebrity doing the show. Are y'all running that low on celebrities? You have to put the mother of Travis and Jason Kelsey on the show. Then they have Love Island USA, which is a show I've never watched. I really don't understand the obsession everybody has. Like, Love Island has the world in a chokehold right now. I've never seen the show. I don't get it. If it's great, definitely put me on. But it seems like there's so many people I know that is obsessed with Love Island. More so than Big Brother. Then they also said Love Island USA is Rob Roush and Maura Higgins, as well as Johnny Weir, Tara Lipinski, and more. So I'll definitely be checking out The Traitors this season. I check it out every year, although I didn't care about who won last year because y'all had the lames that pretty much won. But I mean, no shade to Zac Efron brother because he can get it. But all of my ones like Black Dolores and all of them, I was like, I don't care. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this new season of The Traitors when it pops up. I'm definitely hoping that NeNe can be on the 5th season now that Lil Brent is doing better. So hopefully she'll get on there because we definitely want to see NeNe back on our screens. I don't know if she'll be able to get back on the Housewives of Atlanta or if that's something she would want to do. But seeing her in other places and going on other reality shows, that might be interesting. She could do House of Villains. And I mean, she's already, and then the Traitors next season. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you all bummed that NeNe Leakes is not going to be doing or didn't get to do the upcoming season of the Traitors? Did that still stem you away from even wanting to see the upcoming season? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of really good names that's going to be a part of this upcoming season. So I'm going to still check it out because I'm a Traitors fan. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Was that the song she was singing when she was on there? When she was doing the bodyguard? No, she performed at Essence Music Fest where they were doing that. Um, they were doing the Waiting to Exhale tribute, and I believe doesn't Deborah Cox have a song or sang a part or something on the Waiting to Exhale? I don't remember. Well, I remember when that album came out back in the day. I wore it out because I had the soundtrack. I think everybody had the soundtrack. That was such a huge hit, but with a lot of people. So. Um, I think, yeah, she was at Essence Music Fest, and I saw the clips online, and she sounded a mess. I don't watch the Traitors because it also looks boring, like Love Island, but I would have watched if NeNe was on. Now, it's been relatively interesting. Don't get me wrong, they've been giving the drama. I just need some of my LGBTs to last a little longer. My drag race girls, I need them to last a lot longer than they've been. Like, Peppermint didn't last long. Bob didn't last long. I hope Monet lasts a lot longer. But it is what it is. Now, speaking of Drag Race, let's get into BenDeLaCreme. Because apparently Miss Della Christ was asked a question by Ricky Cornish, our favorite interviewer, over there on the homosexual networks or channels or blogs, whatever you want to call it, the Pride magazine and Out and all of them. Because I didn't know Out and Pride were affiliated. But it makes sense because I think sometimes they be sharing articles. But anyway, so the question was asked if she would ever come back and do All Stars, especially because she self-eliminated during, what was it, All Stars 3? Where she basically put her own name in whiteout and was like, I guess with all the shenanigans and everything that's going on, she just didn't want to be a part of that because I guess all the winning that she was doing, she had this target on her back and it just didn't make her feel good. So now, after dominating the competition every single week on All Stars, the talented queen decided to quit and give the other contestants a stronger shot at the crown, which we've talked about it before, where Trixie Mattel ended up winning that season. People thought it was going to be, and Trixie broke it down and talked about it. People thought it was going to be Shangela, but it was like, nope, you're not winning. And you want to know something? Based off of all the other stuff, and y'all going in on Tyra for being the winner and all this other stuff, it might be a good move that y'all didn't pick with Shangela, especially with all these little allegations that's going around regarding Miss Shangela. So now 7 years have passed since the infamous event, but just like the rest of the Drag Race fans, BenDeLaCreme was watching the current season of All Stars and rooting for some of the OG queens that returned to the workroom, saying, quote, "There's so many on this season that I have so much respect for. Aja is one of those people who is so incredibly talented. It's also so great to see Nicole Paige Brooks back on our TVs. She is such a gem." Well, that I agree with because I love me some Nicole Paige Brooks. Now, although Dela's sudden departure from the contest is a pinnacle moment from the series, the successful queen isn't opposed to potentially competing one more time on a future season of the hit show, saying, quote, "I honestly can't even imagine the circumstance under which that invitation would be extended. I don't know that that's the kind of relationship we have anymore. Excuse me. I don't feel like that is on my list of things to do, but I didn't feel like that before All Stars 3 either. Never say never." Now, one of the reasons why Della likely won't be popping up on Drag Race, as y'all know, is simply because she is also, well, not, I don't know if the judges or people, producers, some behind the scenes will hold it against her for quitting. I do think there's a place for Dela to come back if she wants to. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see Dela come back on the show. But I don't know if she would want to compete. And another thing is, Dela's busy. She's serving as a special guest performer at Tetro Zinzani through July 19th in Chicago. And she says it's such a cool show. I got to do all kinds of all of these incredible comedy bits, but it's also integrative. I can't even speak today. And I get to work with acrobats, trapeze artists, and amazing vocalists from all over the world. It's a stellar cast. But we love our acrobats. Child, I told you I was in the circus. So being around, acrobats and trapeze artists and all those stuff, and everybody was like, did y'all have like lions or something? No, we didn't have that. Like we didn't even have we didn't have any kind of like animals or whatever because people with the cruelty and all that other stuff. We did have horses. We had a dog. We had a pig. We had some of those things. We didn't have like elephants and all that other stuff. So I never heard of Teatro Zinzani, but working with acrobats and this, that, and the other, I'm like, that's pretty cool because, you get to see all kinds of crazy stuff. And then we get to all live together on the lot and all that stuff. So that's great. So I would love to see Ben on the show, but to be honest, Dela doesn't need Drag Race. Dela is very successful outside the show. I mean, it would, I guess, for vanity purposes or for nostalgia sake, it would be good to have Dela come back on. But like I said, she don't need it. So continue to do what you do. I mean, you could probably pop up over there on Roscoe's or do some of the other Drag Race Girls channels and pop up on there and do like interviews and stuff, or get interviewed by some of the Drag Race interviewers that they have out there outside of the Drag Race Girls, because there's some people out here who interview like the Joseph Shepherds and things of that nature. I mean, if you want to do that, but other than that, it's just like, yeah, I would like to see you back on our screen, but I don't know if it'll happen. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of the story? Would you like to see BenDeLaCreme go, rework her way back into the workroom and possibly snatch a crown during an All-Star season? Because I'm sure she would have got it if she would have stuck around for All-Stars 3, but the pressure and everything got to her. And I hope there's still no grudges being held by the WOW staff and thinking like, what you gonna do, try to quit again if things get a little too heated? And these damn producers, they be trying hard, their damnness to do the sabotage on some of the queens and things of that nature to tell some whatever type of narrative they want to tell for their ratings or whatever, which pisses the audience off because y'all make it so damn obvious. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. So Deborah did Whitney songs on the Whitney movie, Angela Bassett. Oh yeah, I remember that. But I wouldn't be surprised if, she was doing the Wait and Exhale soundtrack. Like when she was doing that thing, she was singing Whitney parts. Because when you think about it, Deborah Cox vocally comes close to Whitney in sounding alike. So that's why I feel like they kind of always had, which is no shade, they would call Deborah Cox her understudy. That's why I like the fact that, at one point, what I've always loved about Deborah Cox, because they were trying to market her as kind of like another Whitney Houston. But the thing that made her stand out, similar to the same thing I said about Kelly Rowland, is when she started doing like the dance music, when she started working with people like Thunderpuss and Hex Hector and all that other stuff in the 90s into the 2000s. Now I feel like I'm having a nostalgia moment because I went back in time just now when I was talking about that. It was like when she had a lot of those dance hits and stuff that was coming out. Let me tell you, Deborah Cox's dance music remixes had me in a chokehold back in the day. So I miss that time. So I like when she still be out here performing those songs. And funny enough, I was listening to Amber yesterday. I was like, I haven't heard Amber in years. So I was having a 90s nostalgia moment yesterday. Because Tommy Boy Records, they was doing the damn thing with the dance music. I want to see BenDeLa back. I hope she doesn't get treated poorly like most of the logo early VH1 queens. Absolutely, because I feel like the disrespect that y'all have for a lot of the older queens versus the younger queens, I don't like that, the overall treatment. It's like if the talent is there, treat these people with like they should be treated. Don't just disregard people because they're more seasoned and they've been around for a long time and it's all about TikTok and viral moments and all that crap. So that's what pisses me off about production sometimes. I heard a rumor that it was Lydia made it to the top 2 and not Jordan's. Not sure how credible it is, but I mean, who knows? Maybe there was a switcheroo, but I did hear that was like between George's and Ginger Minj, and that the top 3 would be George's, Ginger, and Lydia. So that's the rumor. That's the top 3. But I can definitely see Lydia going all the way to the end, but I also want to see Aja go too. A lot of people saying that it should have been Aja in the bottom instead of Cuckoo. And I do agree with that, but I feel like production was just like, I don't think they even wanted Cynthia to make it into the semifinals because they didn't look at her as like semifinal material. So they were just looking at it as like, we just need to get rid of this girl as soon as possible. So that's the way I feel like y'all was looking at it when it came to Cynthia. So that was just their way of trying to get rid of her. Because I don't know how you get a lot of criticism. Like, oh, we like what you did, but you made us laugh. Similar to the same thing y'all did with Lexi Love, but Lexi stayed and Cynthia didn't. Make it make sense. So I feel like what y'all was doing with that, and you know, I hate having to make it like it's some sort of a affirmative action DEI type situation. But I have a feeling like ever since that Drag Race got clocked for the way their treatment of trans people and trans inclusion on the show, y'all be scared to eliminate trans contestants because y'all don't want that smoke. So we're gonna have to have them make it all the way to the finale, and then we'll eliminate them because of whatever dance performer, whatever the case is. We already know they're not going to make it. So because this has been many a times that Lexi went home, and y'all had her make it all the way to the end. So I do feel like there's a lot of that they trying to make up for the fact of them being called out over the years on what they said, like, oh, what RuPaul has said about queens and people who get like all that shit put in their body and their face versus actual people who are transitioning into the gender they feel that they should be. And they ate him up over that. And speaking of which, I saw this recent clip of Willem going around that I reposted on TikTok going in on RuPaul about, Matthew and not visiting him at the hospice. And there were people that were defending RuPaul. But trust and believe, when I tell you, I know people who knew him personally long before he became famous. And he has literally said out of his mouth, I can't wait to become famous so I can get better friends. This is something that man has said. So when they tell you not meet your idols, like I love the show, I love the entertainment aspect of it all, but there's a dark side to him too. And the things that people have told me, y'all will gag. And so it said, nobody's supposed to be here was iconic, and she still performs at that Pride event. Yeah, because Pride is that bread and butter. We we live for the nostalgia, the dance tracks of Miss Deborah Cox. And how also I meant to point this out that there was a friend of mine that was trying to come out with a drag competition show, and the sabotage that was allegedly put on his show from World of Wonder because there ain't want no competition. I still need to get around to watching that Drag King show that's on Reverie. And that was a song BenDeLa did in the last lip sync before she left. Funny enough, we sit up here talking about Deborah Cox, and we sitting there talking about BenDeLaCreme doing a version of it. All right. Okay, y'all. So let's get to our final topic and let's talk about Miss Hormona Lisa, aka Sadness. Because if there's one thing that we learned from Miss LaShawn Beyond during her season of Drag Race, which was that season 3, this is not RuPaul's best friend's race. So Hormona Lisa recently did an interview over there on Pride with Ricky Cornish, yet again, our favorite interviewer. And she put her heart on her sleeve, as you know, the entire competition, and has shown her relatable personality on social media since the season began. Now, Lisa has opened up on her journey as a trans woman from the South, her autism diagnosis, and even enjoys sharing adorable recipe videos online that fans can't get enough of. The Queen is also staying booked and busy since filming has wrapped. Now, she recently starred alongside Lana Jarre and Crystal Envy at the World Pride Sad Brunch in Washington, D.C., and dished on her on her time vying for the season 17 crown, saying, quote, I wouldn't say I slayed it. I mean, you didn't, but I did my best and I have a good time, or I had a good time. That's the only thing I can control is having a good time, but I was never going to win. Well, I'm glad you have self-awareness, niece, because we didn't think he was going to win either. But hold on, let me pull up this picture that I seen of Hormona, because I'm like, oh, she look good here. That face feminization surgery allegedly, looks good on you. Because when I sort of, I don't know if that's face filters, whatever the case is, but she is giving me Hillary Clinton tease, like early Hillary Clinton in this picture with the big old glasses and stuff. Oh, they said week 3 of HRT. So that's what she was out here using. But look, the femininity is feminining, feminining, or I guess is what we'll call it. Now, during the Lollapalooza, the adorable queen was eliminated the first round after losing to Lydia Butthole Collins during her lip sync to Liza Minnelli's Liza with a Z, which, Susie Toot was thinking that she was going to get that one. But Lydia was like, man, no, sis, I'm getting this song. However, it turns out that Lisa didn't even know the words to any of the other songs. They said, words are hard. I would love to say I threw it, but in reality, I just suck. Lydia Butthole Collins needed the money more than I did, so I thought, let me throw this for my sister. Lisa also received some harsh criticism from her sisters and fans online for unveiling so many of her reveals very early in the lip sync. She said, I'm autistic, so it's a sensory thing that I didn't think about. I knew I was going to be sitting on the couch and I didn't want to have everything on and be uncomfortable. Let me just get it off now and go sit on the couch and be comfortable. I panic, y'all. People panic. The biggest gag is that Lisa didn't even want to spend too much time with her season 17 sisters when it came time to reunite and film the Lollapalooza in season finale. She said, I hate the girls, so I didn't want to be there. She said, I like half of them. I don't like Joella. I don't like Lucky Stars. I like Lexi Love now. I'm just kidding. I appreciate them all. So, um, the truth is always said in jokes, niece. So I do believe that maybe you don't like some. And I'm like, what Lucky Stars do? Lucky Stars I've always heard was nice. I mean, it's relatively nice. And I told her she the only one of them. The rest of you bitches can kiss my ass. But she the only one from that show since when I did the whole Drag Race season 17 premiere. She's the only one that follows me on Instagram. The rest of them just like whatever. Don't even tag or whatever when you do pictures or give credit and all this other stuff. I was like, okay, well, enjoy y'all 15 minutes because some of y'all, that's all y'all gonna get. But, I like Hormona. She was a little annoying, not as annoying as Joella. I don't like her. But, well, I just didn't like her on the show. I can't say I don't like her because I don't know her personally. But, I do feel like it's like, yeah, when you are autistic, it's like the understanding of social cues and this, that, and the other. Sometimes you're gonna butt heads with people, and it is what it is. But I'm glad she's out here working. She was looking good in that photo. She is, having a moment where she gets to finally live in the body that she was born to be in. Hopefully she'll be able to continue on her trans journey and not be affected, especially with the craziness that's coming out of this current administration, because you already know. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regards to what Hormona Lisa revealed, in regards of some of the season 17 girls that she doesn't like? Do you think that she was actually being truthful in what she said, or was it just jokes? So yeah, was she being shady or just fierce? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Like I said, RuPaul always gave me sinister vibes. Everything about Wow seems evil to me. I love her, but her during that early 2000s era where she was a has-been flop were very revealing of who. I'm glad she's real successful with the show now, and people keep getting mad in my comments. Whenever I post anything about Willem, I get people who live for her stuff, but they also feel like they come for me like, well, you haven't really been doing this, that, and the other since, Drag Race, that you only became famous from Drag. And I'm like, that's not true because I knew who Willem was before she got on Drag Race. Every show, like from Boston Legal to NYPD Blue to freaking Nip Tuck, I remember seeing, speaking of Nip Tuck, Julia McMahon, may you rest in peace. I remember seeing her on Nip Tuck, and funny enough, how I became aware of Nip Tuck when I was working at a place called ACQC. I was a receptionist. There was this teenager who was trans. Well, it was he was transition. She was transitioning and needed money, I guess, because they were leaving to go out of New York, whatever. So she had these DVDs of Nip Tuck. And so I bought them off of her. So that way, I had some money, whatever the case was. And then that's how I became familiar with the show. And I fell in love with it because I was never able to watch it because it was on FX and all other stuff. So that's how I got it. But a lot of people get mad when Will be out here spilling tea. I'm like, I love a rebel rouser. Like, go out here and do what you need to do because it's like I'm out here campaigning for these and rooting for these girls to be successful. And if they felt like I was a rebel rouser, a lot of them would not be coming to me and telling me about stuff that's going on behind the scenes because they're not the ones who can come out and say it because of fear of blacklisting, retaliation, whatever the case is. Willem is fine. Willem got the mom studio. Willem got her own thing going on. She don't need Drag Race. But I do live for somebody who goes in and just reads and puts the stuff out there and makes people aware. People feel like she's causing trouble, but it's like, no, I'm calling the show out and a lot of the shenanigans that go on behind the scenes. And what's wrong with doing that? Lexi shouldn't have made it that far in her season. If it was any season from the 2010, she would have been an early out. Her runway package also wasn't worthy of taking. Yeah, that's why I'm like, you took out a second mortgage. A mortgage where? Because it didn't show in the outfits. It looked like you was wearing all your outfits had high slits on it, like or a train. So it was like it wasn't like you really was giving us something wow worthy. It's not like you came out on the runway in a pair of wings, or you was bringing like fashions like you were a fashion queen like an Ariete or whatever. Like you wasn't giving that. Now with those looks, they compared Willem to a high schooler who graduated 10 years ago and still hangs out at the high school. Willem is one of my fave queens from the show, so they can never make me dislike her. I like Willem too. But like I said, I got the opportunity when I lived in LA. I got to go to her studio, which is right across the street from World of Wonder. I took a picture in front of World of Wonder first until I was hanging out there with my friend. We were, I was like, let me take a picture in front of the gate where it said World of Wonder on. It's on my social medias actually, and so we were waiting for Willem's people to come to her place. So while we was out there, I was like doing my little photo shoot. And then we went in, I got the book and everything. And I have it somewhere in a box. But yeah, I've always been a fan of Willem and I always like Willem. So and I like when people come out and say that, but I don't like the idea of if this is true that y'all are punishing Alaska because she does a podcast with Willem. Right? Because I like when people could be honest. It was like I'm watching a show and I'm giving commentary, but I'm also being critical of bringing up some of the behind the scenes tea regarding the show. All right, y'all. All right, so now we're at the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Allen Unfiltered. I'll be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode. So in the meantime, for the last time, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Allen Unfiltered. It helps with the algorithm. It also helps my Quintanillas go up because, I do get paid to do this via YouTube. So, yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow. I appreciate you all who continue to watch this show and this, get caught up in this mess every day. Those of you who hang out with me and leave comments and all that good stuff because, I definitely appreciate every last one of you and all that you help me bring, you being a part of the show and all. So, I definitely appreciate all of y'all and the consistent support. For those of you who stick out through the whole show and those who jump in and out. So, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.